So TT Boy was talking about how, this is before pills and the shots and the pumps that the men use now.
Sure.
Kind of like the Yellowstone, Old Faithful?
Yeah.
Because I've heard that guys now will install a pump into themselves that has a way to pump it in your in your scrotum.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Jeez.
Well, it sounds very invasive just to go do porn.
The Cronenberg movie.
Yeah, I don't know that one, but I take your word for it.
Video. He's a big body horror guy.
Okay, yeah. So
video
like
drama and stuff, yeah.
So I don't know I haven't Googled it, but I've heard that these guys some of them will have these pumps installed into themselves, and it's not like something.
Yeah, the implants.
Yeah, but the pump to pump it up is inside of you.
Okay, I don't know. It's been years since I've had one because I had to remove it. I fixed that.
Good for you.
But I think it's like, think of almost like a straw that is flexible. That wouldn't crinkle.
Okay.
And what you do is that straw is kind of laid, alongside the side or the top or bottom of your penis. I don't know. But then you somehow connect the pump to an insert in there, and then you pump that.
Right.
So the actual pump is on the outside, but then it makes that thing rigid.
And that is how it was for many, many years. But now apparently there is no exterior pump. The pump is located inside of the body.
Come on.
So it's like the Reebok pump sneaker from the 80s.
That's exactly what it is.
Wow.
But is there a release valve like there was in the Reebok pump? Like once you're done and you're stuck there, can you kind of let it all out?
I don't know. I've only heard women talk about it. I don't know anything more about it, and I could be wrong. Again, I said I hadn't Googled it.
Yeah.
Because now there are shots, as you know. I think I've told both of you guys that there are shots that these guys take. It's a simple, tiny shot that you put into yourself, and then you are, regardless,
right.
You don't have to do anything with your brain. It's happening whether you like it or not. Like you're walking around for an hour. So these guys use that.
Not TT Boy. All natural.
No. They didn't have any of that with him.
No, he was all...
and he was just getting started after his first scene.
And he'll tell you, too.
Yeah. And
it's a fascinating podcast. You got me into it, and I've fallen down the rabbit hole completely.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little daunting where you turn it on and it's a 3.5 hours.
Yes, you got to kind of break that up. I can't
or bag out right away. But they are, and the older the guy that he talks to, the better, because believe it or not, the guys from like the 70s seem a lot smarter because they generally were actors, like stage actors in New York, that just got so desperate for money they fell into this thing, and it was dangerous and like it required a lot of stuff. Like a lot of them are like overly educated guys. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then once video came around, they're just dummies from the San Fernando Valley that like
that
porn.
looks good and
Okay.
Exactly.
The penis pump implant, a surgically implanted device, uses a pump and saline fluid to create an erection. So it's not air. The pump is located in the scrotum.
Yeah. Okay, so it is true.
Good. While the fluid reservoir is in the lower abdomen. So the surgeon implants the pump and cylinders into the penis.
That doesn't sound invasive at all.
Surgeon fills the reservoir with saline fluid to get an erection. Squeeze the pump in the scrotum. Saline fluid flows into the cylinders in the penis to deflate. Press the button on the pump to release the fluid back into the reservoir. See, I thought it was weird before, but this actually sounds... I'd be interested, just from like a mechanical standpoint. I wonder if you could DIY one of these things.
Where's the button? Where's the button?
The button is in your scrotum. Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of home surgeries anyway. And this, granted, next level stuff.
Yeah.
But I could
tinker around a
You're
little
going to go shopping at Home Depot for all the right parts?
I could cobble something together.
I'm sure you could.
And what could go wrong with that? It doesn't seem like anyone could. Nothing bad could happen with
Benefits, generally considered safe.
Generally.
Can provide a natural-looking erection. Doesn't usually change sensation, urination, orgasm, or...
Doesn't usually.
Recovery. You may experience soreness and bruising after surgery. Oh, do you think?
Yeah.
You think that area might be a little tender? Wow.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
listen, more power to it. I mean, if you have a problem and they can do it, that's great. I just think that to be in porn and to do it when you're a young man is a little odd.
Short-sighted, perhaps?
Yeah. It seems like such a terrible job. Like the more I find out about it, the more in the way the business is and how little they get paid and everything else.
It's like any other business, though. Being able to work with those people, I think, would make up for a lot of the shortfalls and a lot of the downside of being in the actual industry. But
Scarface.
I watch that anytime it comes on. That and Predator.
yeah,
Yeah, that's him.
hang out with those guys all day.
Like a bird, migrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is him and Peter North talking. The great Peter North. Is Lane? Is this Lane?
It looks like Ian.
Oh, Ian.
Ian, Iain.
That is a way to spell Ian.
Oh. Ian, hello.
Good morning.
Hey, what's
How are
up?
you guys?
What's up?
Well, so I'm a surgeon's tech, and actually I've helped put in a few of those implants that you're talking about. And it's like two silicone tubes essentially that you can fill with air, and they're hooked to a tube, and then they put that down in your scrotum, and it's a literal pump that you pump up.
How popular
Never done
is
it for
that?
anyone young.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've never done it for anyone young. Mainly, it's been for older guys who are doing it for their wives because they can't get up anymore. And
Well, I would assume that's.
work for them.
Yeah, I would assume you were doing it because you can't achieve an erection. Yeah.
Ian, I have a question just about
Yeah.
the measurements and the schematics of this thing because if let's say you're a grower, not a shower, and how do you
Right.
get the right length of tube into a non-erect penis that will somehow work to fill with fluid, and then you know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Yeah, no. So it's almost like pneumatic, so it's like air. So they they expand themselves. When they come in, they're like half the size as when they are
Okay.
fully pumped up.
Okay.
And
Okay. Oh, interesting.
You it's still achieve that show no, grow not show.
Exactly, and that's. I mean, I don't mean to talk about the audience's head by using medical terms like that, but the growing and showing versus the showing and growing. All right, good.
Well, imagine if you went in for your consultation and the guy's like, "Well, we'll save a lot of money on tubing here."
Now I know I quoted you a price of $12,000, but it turns out we're going to only need about half the material we would normally use.
Yeah, I don't know if they make anything that will fit. It's we're talking about very microsurgery here. I don't know if we have the proper magnifying devices to get this all to work. I'll tell you, if I'm an old man who's married to an old lady, I'll go without the sex. I really would. I'd just prefer not to have sex. I'm talking about like an old man. Let's say 72 and up.
Okay, you say that, but don't you think there's something that happens in our own brains that allows us to remain attracted to people, older people, as we get older? Like as a 22-year-old, could you imagine having sex with a 50-year-old?
Yes, absolutely. And absolutely 100%. And
Why is this shocking to you?
yeah, of course.
I feel the same way
It
as
was a
Fred.
fantasy.
Hell yeah,
As a matter of fact, it was a fantasy.
22 years old, absolutely.
Yeah,
you can see that.
like your mom's friends and stuff.
Were
Yeah,
you
that was a huge
Midwestern
fantasy.
that you never entertained that thought when you were younger?
I forgot about Fred's Golden Girls fixation.
Well, have
No,
you?
it has nothing
I
to
mean,
do
or
with
have
that.
you watched pornography? I mean, that's every scene is a stepfather, not a stepfather, a stepmom situation.
Sure, but I'm more fascinated that Hardy has never ever thought of that.
It's just it wouldn't be something that I would seek out and want.
Oh,
no,
it would be
I want to
something-
have sex with other 22-year-olds.
No. It was something. In fact, I'd rather have sex with a 22-year-old now than I did when I was 22. When I was 22, I want to have sex with a 50-year-old.
How do you think Marcus was able to perform with Lady Eloise? I was always really impressed with that. In Boomerang.
Oh,
Eartha
yeah,
Kitt,
yeah,
Eartha
yeah.
Kitt's character.
Yeah. Oh, it's Eartha Kitt. I mean,
No.
it was Catwoman. So
I found that.
Marcus,
gross.
stop.
I have talked to guys, older guys, and they'll tell you they say just because I'm 70 doesn't mean I want to be with a 70-year-old woman. Like 70-year-old women look like 70-year-old women. 50-year-old woman can look really good. A 70-year-old woman's short of like, I mean, Raquel Welch when she was 70, like I definitely would have had sex. Rita Moreno, as we've gone over here, I would have had sex with until she was, or I'd probably have sex with a lot of people, but 80 years old, I would have sex with Rita Moreno. When she was on Oz, and she was the only woman at the jail, other than the lady from The Sopranos, it was good. But no, I think, and especially if I had been married to someone for like 40 years, and I'm in my 70s. My parents are 83. I bet you my parents haven't had sex in certainly 20 years, if not more. Certainly. 100%. 150%. There's no way. And it doesn't even gross me out. It's just, I'm not saying that because it grosses me out. I'm just saying that there's no way.
Did they share a marital bed still?
They didn't when I was growing up. And then when they retired, they do.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Nice. That's nice.
So it was like the Mary Tyler Moore deal, where it's separate, like single beds next to each other in the bedroom, type of thing.
Well, there's no other option. No, my father would sleep in. They slept in different rooms. I mean, but my advice to you with this is when you start sleeping in different rooms, because like I snored and started sleeping in a different room, you're never going back into that bed. My parents are an anomaly. You have to do a geographical switch and like a lifestyle switch.
Yeah. Get to a point where you don't have a choice almost. You're going to have to, move to a place that only has one bedroom in order to go from 2 bedrooms to 1.
I bet you my parents have not had sex in over 40 years.
Well, let's ask them.
They're in St. Thomas. I don't want to wake them up, but I'd ask them.
All right, we'll ask them. What time you want to ask them? 8:30, 9 o'clock?
Are they on Eastern time or are they ahead?
They might be. Good call, John.
Because the Dominican is ahead.
The Atlantic time zone.
Yes.
Yeah, they might be in the Atlantic time zone. They might be. I don't know. They called yesterday. They were at the pool.
Why'd they call?
The birthday.
Oh, of course.
And it was my dad, so I knew something was up. They called from my dad's phone. Oh. And I said, wow, you're at the pool. You're growing with your age. And he's like, all right, Freddie. Yeah, I'm old. And I'm like, no, I said you wouldn't have done this before. You're growing with your age. And he goes, I get it. Yeah, I'm old. And I'm like, okay, Dad, I was complimenting you.
He turned it
and he goes, yeah, you're complimenting me. I go, okay. It was nice talking to you, Dad. Thank you so much.
It's nice on your birthday. He turned it into all about himself.
Nah, well, I mean, he just can't understand what the hell I'm talking about anymore. He's not alone.
Did they still get you gifts for your birthday?
They got me, they wanted to pay for this, they wanted to pay for where I'm taking Zoe for spring break, which was cute because no, they're not. But
she's like, Big Tam?
No, that would cost too much shipping. She and she'd have to worry about it in my refrigerator for so long. Right. She mailed via the U.S. mail a stamped envelope on Monday and figured that it would get to me yesterday. She mailed it from Tennessee on Monday and figured that the stamped envelope. And I explained to her, there's no way maybe on Tuesday I'll get it.
Well, you know what? I thought because I ordered something for you Saturday or Sunday, and it said it would arrive by Wednesday at 9 p.m., I'd be all set. And the fact that it not only didn't arrive last night, but now, according to the Amazon tracking, it is in Stoughton and still will not be delivered until the 21st. We're sorry for the delay.
Stoughton's what, 15 miles from you?
15?
I don't know.
It's 400 yards.
Oh, okay.
I'm like in South Canton, baby.
Okay.
I'm right there. What the hell do you mean the 21st? I don't order enough from Amazon to have this be like a regular thing, so I'm not used to it. I hear my wife and daughter mostly. My daughter's like, why is it not here? Why is it not here? I'm like, oh, get over yourself. But I was that guy last night. I'm like, what the hell is this? I got the tracking. I'm looking at it. Fred's Gifts is sitting in Stoughton. It's been there since yesterday or 2 days ago.
Drive over and pick it up. Why not?
And that I'm sure we've all had the same thought. Can I just have it, please? No, 21st. And if it's not there by the 21st, you can request a refund. Why would you give me a refund?
Don't get it at all.
If it's really there, are you lying to me? Is it not in Stoughton? It's not in Stoughton, is it?
Yeah.
It says it's not really in Stoughton, is it?
And I'm like, have you been to the post office, Mom? It's not overly staffed. Like, you go to the post office, like,
Isn't that the feeling you get, too? You walk in there, and it's like, so I'm going to hand you this, and you, this one person standing behind the counter with just this sea of chaos behind you. This is going to get across the country in 3 days, and you're sure of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a miracle that they get anything done because there'll be one person at the counter, and then there'll be a guy in the back, and there'll be a line of, I don't know, like 100 people. And then the woman or the guy that's at the front, they'll have to like leave the front. You're there for 45 minutes. Like, the guy has to leave the front, right, to like go do or take something in the back. And then they go in the back and they have a conversation with someone. My dad was having a big conversation with me about TSA in Atlanta yesterday.
Oh.
And about how I would have lost my mind because there was plenty of TSA agents, but they were all, in his words, ass grabbing the whole time, and no one was getting through. And my dad was going like, all right, stop talking.
Well,
like,
maybe
stop talking to one another.
The TSA agents were doing their own little version of the segment 1 of the Toucher and Hardy show. It's just a little grab ass, a little slap and tickle. You got to, maybe they're just easing into their day.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you're only responsible for the safe and speedy travel of thousands and thousands of people.
Flying across the world.
Flying
Like a
across
bird,
the world.
right
Not at all a stressful situation when you have to make a tube that's going to take you somewhere else in the air.
Wonder if the TSA agents make it to break on time.
Wow.
Jeez.
Birthday's
over.
Yeah, Adam. Jesus Christ.
My God.
There's not a lot that happened last night, Adam. You might be a little happy if you were the one behind this mic that I'm killing a little more time. All right. As Adam has put his foot down in a sarcastic, mean way, we will be back with nothing that happened last night because not much did, but Adam needs to hear it. Okay. We'll be back in just a moment. like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Artie. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR.
All right, let's start with the big NBA matchup last night. Combined, these two teams have suffered, going into the game last night? I'm going to say about 9 losses on the season, Wallach. OKC and Cleveland.
11, but that's okay.
9, 11.
Close enough.
Nice going, Wallach.
Far and away.
Now you made me say 9-11. Thanks. That's
Far and away,
great.
the two best teams in the NBA. How's that? Just say that.
Far and away, the two best teams in the NBA.
And the answer is they've 12 losses. So
This is after last night.
Now they do.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Spoiler alert, one team won.
7 offensive rebounds, including a couple of critical ones late. Lugens Dort looks to get the scoring started for OKC, and he does from 3.
Yes, he did. And that trend would continue as the Oklahoma City Thunder pretty much took all the drama out of this one. Not early, but early enough to where it did not have the heavyweight title, let's go the distance feel about it that everyone wanted.
Cavs take a violation as well, and our final score is going to be 134-114 as we await a visit from a Thunder player.
I'm guessing that was not a 20-point spread on that game last night.
No, and the only reason it was 20 points is because Cleveland outscored Oklahoma City by 18 in the fourth quarter. They were down 38 after 3. There was no draw. I was excited to watch this thing actually for a while. I wanted to see what was going on. It was over a 20-point spread at the half. There was no. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 40 points, and if they had really hit the accelerator, it probably could have had 50.
And it's funny because there was 95 threes taken, and Cleveland hit 31%, and Oklahoma hit 34%. The game. That's the game now. Yeah. More threes than twos taken by Cleveland.
But Gilgeous-Alexander made 1 3 and scored 40 points.
Yeah,
nice.
I got news for you. Not many players hit more than 1 3 on either team.
No, I know, but
No. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm making the point that
They're just going to chuck them up whether they're going in or not.
starting lineup: 1 for 5, 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 6 for 9. So this Dort guy went nuts. 0 for 1, 0 for 8, 0 for 2, 0 for 2. I mean, like they just chuck threes, and here we go.
So SGA was not hitting his three-pointers. Did most of his points, Wallach, sound like this?
Mobley up and under with the layup. Couldn't get it to go. Nice hustle from Dort. Into Wallace. 2-on-1 on the other end. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to throw it down.
It was a slam dunk.
Yes.
So what he does is he holds the ball. He gets so high in the air, he just stuffs it in the rim. Have you ever seen that?
I have occasionally.
It's called a razzle-dazzle, ramma-jamma, rim-shaking dunk. But he's minus money now for MVP.
Yeah. No,
he's minus 190 for MVP.
Yeah, he's the best player on the best team.
Yeah. To just compare, Tatum's plus 3,000.
Yeah.
And Alexander is minus 190 right now.
Yeah, the way the
for MVP.
Celtics have played over the last month, I'm not surprised.
He's still in. Tatum, I think, is 4th or 5th in the MVP, but but it doesn't look like that's happening.
This is Oklahoma City's year, at least in the regular season. This is their year. It's almost impossible to win in that building. I think they're 18-2 or 19-2 in that building.
Do you remember him at Kentucky?
No.
Neither
I don't.
Do I.
I don't.
That Kentucky team it might sound dumb, but it seems to me like they probably didn't do much because that's something I'd remember. I always remember the guys that went far into the tournament. It's the 2018 Kentucky team. All right. This is just for me. Don't worry about me.
All right. Do you want me to move on?
Yeah, you can move
on. All right. So SGA marching toward the inevitable with an MVP. Someone else marching toward the inevitable last night in Ottawa.
2-on-1 with Ovechkin. Ovechkin fires. He scores! Alex Ovechkin
hero.
As the Capitals beat the Senators 1-0 in overtime, Ovechkin now 21 goals shy of Wayne Gretzky's record, a record that many people thought would stand virtually forever.
By the way, 26-11, Fred. They reached the Sweet 16.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I don't remember.
But yeah, as far as Ovechkin goes,
I do not remember.
as far as Ovechkin, it's so tempting. I want you to know right now.
I was just that was
it's
actually
really
doing Baba
tempting
Booey.
to veer off.
That was doing Baba
And
Booey.
take this exit.
I was doing rock and roll Mike.
That wasn't what Fred.
No, then Fred took it somewhere else.
It's really tempting to stop right here.
No, I wasn't doing. I wasn't doing Rick. I was doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sweet
sorry,
16,
Hardy. You were saying.
Yeah, and they beat Davidson and Buffalo to
Yeah.
get to the Sweet 16. So
Yeah.
let's not go crazy.
Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah, you scored last night. 21 goals short of Wayne Gretzky's record. Bruins with a nice little layoff here. They of course got the back-to-back wins against Florida and Tampa. They still do not play again tonight. They will be in Ottawa themselves tomorrow afternoon. A little matinee affair.
Oh, I like
against
the matinee.
Senators.
Matinees are nice.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll gamble on that at the big Hollywood Casino Hotel. Maybe I'll put money because I'll obviously be able to watch it.
That's right. You guys are heading to Detroit today, both of you.
Oh yeah, I'm heading out much earlier than Freddie T.
What time are you leaving?
1 p.m.
Oh wow.
I'm not even going home. I'm packed up. Everything ready to go.
Well, I got to go home, take the dog in. Then I got a parent-teacher conference at 1:40. Get Zoe at 2:20. Then go out to Groton and get him, and then come back and pack him because his mother didn't pack him. You can pack him.
He can pack himself.
That's a good idea. I mean, you would think he could. He
16
physically
years
could,
old.
and mentally probably could. But then we get to Detroit, and he goes, "I didn't bring a jacket, Dad. I didn't bring a jacket. What do I need a jacket for? It's gonna be 10 degrees outside. Is that hot or cold? Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Have you looked at the weather in Detroit?
You told me yesterday. Hardy's like." He's on top of things. He's like packed. He's packed. He's looked at the weather. He's got everything going. He hasn't been back in a while.
I have not.
See, this to me, I could do this all the time. I haven't thought to look at the weather because it's depressing.
85% chance of snow tomorrow. But temperature-wise, low is only 18 degrees.
And it's a crisp 18 degrees coming off that Detroit River.
Yes. Sunday, the temperature range goes between 8 and 18. And then Monday, which we're both staying into Monday, the high is 10 and a low of 4.
Huh.
So, that'll be good.
Yeah, leaving that game Saturday night is going to be really
How long a walk to the hotel from there?
Yeah.
like-
How long is the walk?
not 10 minutes.
Oh,
Okay, you're
and-
fortunate. You?
same hotel.
No,
Oh, same hotel. Okay.
If there was no one around, it's going to take to get into Ford Field. It will take 20 minutes to leave. Like once you're out of Ford Field, it'll take you 10 minutes to get back to the hotel. If you walked if you got up tomorrow morning and like walked to Ford Field, it would take you 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes.
Oh, great. Okay.
Look at a map. I mean, it's like literally a block and a half away.
Oh, I've looked at a map. But from someone who's actually done it, I like boots on the ground, firsthand testimony.
You can walk to Little Caesars Arena from there, which
Nice.
I've done on several occasions.
Nice.
Olivia Rodrigo and the Red Wings. But I will be missing that Pistons game as the Pistons take on Phoenix that night. That was the plan if they were going to play on Sunday, was go to the Pistons game on Saturday night and then go to the Lions game.
Oh, all right. Well, it's nice to hear you talk about a team other than your beloved New York Jets, but Aaron Rodgers has been talking plenty about the Jets and his potential return.
I was impressed to see that, the meeting with Christopher and Jaime was a lot about that. The meeting about Woody was more about team, future, different things. But I think everybody understands that it's going to come down to a GM and a coach and myself, and whether we all want to do a dance together or if it's not in the cards.
It sounds to me like he assumes he's in control of this, and the Jets have no say.
No, to be fair to Aaron Rodgers, who I can't stand, no, it's been very apparent since the season that he's pretty aware that he does not control this. And he has said he's willing to develop another quarterback. He has said that he wants to come back. He has said, I believe he wants to come. If he had his way, he would come back. There's no reason. He said nothing other than he wants to come back, and he could be lying. Sure, but if you go based on what he said, he's been rather humble for Aaron Rodgers. Like he hasn't been like, I'm gonna do that. He said, I mean, he met with owners. He's waiting around to make a decision until they hire a GM and a coach. He could have just gone, I'm gone, or that you better make your decision now. There's a lot of things he could do.
Do the Jets want him back at all? Regardless of what he decides.
If they were not the New York Jets, I would say there's no way in a million years that they'd have him back. But, who knows? They'll probably hire some GM that's from the Pro Bowling League, and he'll go, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer, and then bring him back.
Well, Aaron Rodgers did have thoughts on his return, but he has thoughts on much larger world issues that I'll share with you on the other side.
Oh, cool.
That are much more interesting. And the passing of a beloved sports figure, which we will recognize here in a few minutes.
If he retires, I wonder what that does to the McAfee show, because then A.J. Hawk is going to have to open his mouth and talk.
Oh, they'd still have him on it.
For the political content alone.
Yeah, you think Aaron Rodgers isn't going on McAfee just because he doesn't play football anymore?
Oh, it would be more like McAfee not having Aaron Rodgers on anymore, but okay. But that show sucks so bad. If that's the future, then you can have it. You can have the future. If some moron with a gold chain and a basketball jersey that can't sit down with a stupid Pittsburgh accent is the big thing, then that's great.
He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, too much. All right, we'll be back.
Boom.
Well, it's
Boom.
What did RFK win? What?
Well,
I don't watch the news.
The right to be part of the winning team
Okay,
for the election.
all right. That's
well,
probably
he
it.
had to drop out and declare himself a loser in order to become part of the winning team.
Right.
Boom.
I think that Trump would have won without. I don't think RFK was the thing that pushed Trump over the finish line.
Probably not.
He was a utility infielder on the World Series winning roster.
No. He was on another team and lost, and then showed up to the World Series games.
Okay, so again,
Yeah.
It's Johnny Gomes.
the challenging statement slash.
That's a great point. He's Johnny Gomes.
Johnny Gomes.
Johnny Gomes. He didn't make the active roster, but he's
But he's the guy you want to go to war with.
sure.
Okay, isn't that what Johnny Gomes said?
Yes. Asked Ken Rosenthal to ask him that first.
Yeah. You asked
answered
me.
it.
You asked me to ask you
Yes.
about RFK, and here's how I did.
RFK has already got his first win. Boom.
Well, it's first of many. I hope it's going to be interesting to see what happens. What I do want to watch is I want to watch his confirmation hearing and just see who tries to with him. Like, please, somebody try and get after him and just watch him absolutely mop the floor with any of these senators. So you better come ready, senators. Come ready and try and see if you can pull one over on my boy Bobby, because Bobby's a smart dude and no notes off the cuff. Excited for him to. And honestly, so should everybody. It's going to be he's doing a service to everybody if you just let him and get the hell out of the way and stop trying to label him as whatever the they want to label him these days. And he's going to make America healthy again. He's going to freaking die trying. So the guy in charge, the guy that goes down to Gold's Gym in Venice, now he does wear jeans when he works out, but the guy's down there shirtless doing freaking 30 pull-ups and lifting a bunch of weights, looking jocked for 70 years old.
Get out of his way.
Don't question him on anything.
Yeah, get out of his way.
Let him do his thing.
Get out of his way. Don't challenge anything. Because Aaron is a seeker and someone who challenges authority in conventional wisdom. But if he likes someone, you don't challenge anything. You get out of the way. Don't challenge him. I will tell you this. RFK is jacked. He admits to taking testosterone, as most people his age with any money do. But he denies taking steroids. And to that, I would say, you were taking steroids. I mean, he's in tremendous. If he's doing 30 pull-ups at 70-something, he's taking steroids.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, I would. If you could look like that, at 70-something years old, I would absolutely take steroids. What's the downside? At that point, what's the downside of taking the steroids? If I'm in tremendous shape, I look great, I feel good. So what's the downside? I'm 70-something years old. Well, you'll die a little earlier. Okay, sure. Instead of like withering away, yeah, I'll die earlier. So whatever he's doing, I will say this for him. I don't know anything about the politics. I'm sure he's very controversial. And I know he's very controversial. I know a lot of people hate him. I'm sure Adam doesn't like him and everything else. But I would say this. In terms of the supplements he's taking, the hormones that he's taking, I would do the exact same thing.
Well, you said the testosterone, but the human growth hormone and all this other stuff that, who knows how widely available it's going to be in 10, 15 years or, whatever incarnations of it are around. But I'm with you, man. Once you get to a certain age, why not?
Yeah.
Well, is it, we don't know what the long-term side effects are. Yeah, I'm 70.
Yeah, the long term's over. Like, if my quality of life at 72 is real, and because believe me, I've thought of this. If my quality of life at 72 is still like really good, relatively speaking, I'll take the consequences.
Sure.
I'll take any consequence because then it's just the last years where your hips broken and you're bedridden that you're losing. Go ahead.
Got an email from Michael. He says RFK is like Grant Williams showing up in the Celtics locker room after they've won the championship.
Yeah, it's kind of he doesn't lose. But I just think it's funny that Aaron's like, just get out of his way and let him do what he wants to do. because that's the guy he likes.
Yeah.
Everyone else needs to listen to his theories.
That's right.
People want to put labels on him, like raving lunatic. That's not right.
He loves dead animals. That much we know.
The only thing I know about RFK is that he is weird with dead animals.
Just big ones. Just whales and bears.
Well,
I don't know if he
it was
messes
a
around
cub.
with like raccoons.
It was a cub. Well, he probably started off with raccoons.
Maybe. Sad news from the world of baseball. Bob Uecker passed away at the age of 90.
I heard the last game he ever called. Isn't that
yeah?
interesting?
Oh.
Yeah, I was listening in the car to the Milwaukee game, and I guess after that game that they lost to the Mets with the Alonso home run, that, one of the 3-run lead in the ninth, I guess a lot of the players were crying in the locker room talking about Bob Uecker because they knew he had small cell cancer in his lungs and that he was probably going to die. So, like, one of the great – this just shows how much they all loved him. He used to throw batting practice, like, even in his 80s, but they, like, loved him so much that part of the hurt of losing was they knew that was probably it for him, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Which is, shows how much he was loved.
Voted him a full playoff share.
Wow.
They thought of him as a member of the organization first, kind of a broadcaster second. He donated his share to charity. And it's so many great stories about him, but the one that Fred, you and I both saw yesterday that
well, I just know it. I didn't even see it yesterday. I'm not surprised it went around, but I love this story. It's one of my favorite stories ever told. You're playing the Letterman one?
Yes, this is
my favorite comedian telling maybe his greatest story.
Now, Norm, we're running out of time, but I would be remiss here if I didn't bring up something. People have been bothering me about this for months and months. People come on the show and they say, the next time you see Norm Macdonald, he's got some tremendous stories about the great Bob Uecker. Now, do you have a story you can tell us about Bob Uecker? Voice of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, Bob Uecker is one of my best friends. He's a great man. I know Artie told a story when he was here, and Bob was not too thrilled with that. But
it's Artie Lang you're talking
Artie
about.
Lang, yeah. But Bob is a very, very funny man, and I often go in the booth with him,
Oh, sure.
So one time we were there, and John Fogerty was in the audience. A fortunate son, So John Fogerty was there, so Bob Uecker is a very interesting guy. He thinks of everybody as the same. He doesn't think of people as stars or anything like that. He's a very down-to-earth guy. So he was talking to me, and he says, "Hey, man, you know that guy?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's John Fogerty, rock and roll singer." So I go, yeah, I know who it is. He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "But I played in a golf tournament with him." He goes, "You probably think of him as some that likes to bite the heads off of chickens, but this guy can."
That's exactly how I think of him.
This guy can get it out of the sand trap like nobody's business. So he goes, he's got a hell of a set of pipes on him. He goes, come the seventh inning stretch, I'll have him up here. He'll sing for you. So I said, no, Bob, don't do that. Like, don't have him come up and sing for me, please, He goes, what's matter, man? Don't you even know who he is? He got all mad. So I go, yes, Bob, I know who he is. He did Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, he did all that.
Oh, my God. Well, there you go.
We can't play it, but Artie Lang's story is better than that.
Well, when Norm tells that on Stern, it's long and more involved.
As I said, we can't play it, but Artie Lang's story is pretty good, too.
When he says he was in Clearwater Revival, he goes, yeah, he was in all that effing ass.
Yeah.
Uecker on Carson over 100 times.
Yes.
But we're out of time, but just not to be, like, I don't know the guy, but just how impressive that is. They had Bob Uecker on as, like, kind of just a one-off thing, like, because they couldn't find a guest. And he was probably the third guest on Carson the night he was on.
Yeah.
And I've seen the appearance. He killed and had Carson dying so much laughing that Carson biggest show in the country. Carson brought him back 100 times. The play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers did Carson, a thing that comedians back then literally would have chopped an arm off to do. That he did it 100 times. And he stayed loyal to Milwaukee. He had a lot of opportunities to do other stuff, and he stayed loyal to Milwaukee. But everyone's got great stories about him. Apparently, he was a tremendous individual. And for you, Adam, David Lynch died as well, the great auteur.
Auteur. That's exactly the word.
And he big
He's
TM
a
guy.
Film.
Much sadder about that than I expected to be, because he had announced last year that he had cancer, and we knew that the clock was ticking. But
Twin Peaks? Is that David Lynch?
Do you do transcendental meditation? Because that's his big cause du jour. Have you read his book about transcendental meditation, Adam?
I've not read that book. I've read Lynch on Lynch. I started. This is so typically Adam 12. I started to try to do TM on my own because I didn't want to pay to do the workshops.
No, you need to pay.
Clearly, I need to.
They need to hand you your mantra. It doesn't work without it.
That's right. So I will be doing that probably this year.
All right. There's other ways to meditate. You don't have to do TM.
Talk to me about it. Not on the mic, obviously. We got to go to break, but I'm interested.
Oh no, we can get into it right now
because I know you do. I know you're a meditator.
You got to.
Yeah.
It just makes me sleepy.
I'm interested.
It's getting your kids to do it is what the problem is. All right, Bert Breer is going to join us in just a moment.
Nice.
You're listening to Toucher and Hook.
tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. This is also the opener of a back-to-back for the Green, who face Atlanta at the Garden tomorrow night. The Bruins are off until tomorrow afternoon when they visit Ottawa. In NFL news, the playoffs begin tomorrow in Kansas City as the Chiefs get ready to host Houston in the divisional round. NFC top seed Detroit plays the Washington Commanders at Ford Field tomorrow night. Dallas has interviews set up for Philadelphia assistant Kellen Moore today, former Jets head coach Robert Saleh tomorrow, and former Buffalo assistant Leslie Frazier on Sunday. In baseball news, Hall of Fame Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away yesterday at the age of 90. He'd been battling small cell lung cancer for nearly 2 years. And the New England Revolution have signed free agent forward Maxi Urruti to a one-year contract with a club option. Urruti ranks 9th in career goals scored in MLS history. He'll be 34 years old next month. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, the company that finishes every job strong. If your home or business has a plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or drain issue that can't wait, you need to call 128 now at 888-CALL-128. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5.
The Lions game tomorrow night, and we're sitting together, me and my son and him and his friend, and, you know, we were looking at tickets, and the way that you buy tickets, everyone has told me, and it is true, is that you buy them never before 2 days before the event.
Right.
Because people have pie in the sky asking prices, and then often they manual or automatically like go down as the event gets closer because so you look, I mean, you can look every day and try to find a bargain.
The same concept is like it's different, but it's the same concept as like what they used to tell you with like street scalpers, where it was like wait till 5 minutes after the first pitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You'll be able to get.
Yeah, and the problem with the secondary market online is after 5 minutes after the first pitch, a lot of times you can't get you can't get tickets. They shut it down.
Yeah.
So we did that, but what's funny about wherever we bought them is it doesn't matter. It's the same thing with almost everyone, is that, you know, Hardy and I were on it. Hardy texted me, and he's like, yeah, you know, they have come down because I was big on sticking to, like, don't buy them now. And he's like, they have come down. These seats, they're maybe the best seats there. He's like, these seats are now at this price that they originally like $2,000, and now they're down to like $800. And so, and I'm like, yeah, buy them. And it's funny. Then he sent me the bill. The service charge is 25%. And then the taxes, for whatever reason, the taxes are like insane too.
Oh man!
So it raises the price per ticket. You know,
right?
$400.
Because you're like, ooh, I gotta click.
Well, you feel smart.
Like,
well, you feel smart.
Yeah.
Is it you go? I bucked the system. Like, and I had told Hardy, like, don't wait. So I felt all proud of myself. I'm like, look at this. Like, the tickets did come down. And to Hardy's credit, he was like, look, I think that I want to sit in good seats, which I like. He's like, I want to sit in good seats. I don't want to just get in the building. I want to sit in good seats. I said, yeah, if we're going to Detroit, we might as well sit in good seats. He goes, should I go? He goes, he didn't even say, should I? He's like, I'm going to go. I'm like, great. And you would have bought him even if I didn't get back to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knew I wouldn't care. But then he sent me the bill, and the only thing about it is it's a ridiculous amount of money to go to a game. But imagine the Super Bowl now, dude. I mean, do you know how much that would cost you?
I'm so happy.
Face on Super Bowl tickets, like I think I'm gonna have an option to buy Super Bowl tickets this year.
Yeah.
Oh. And it's, I mean, I think it's like $1,500 a ticket.
Oh yeah, and those aren't good seats.
Those are just way up top, the 600 section, right? That's, yeah.
Oh well, I mean, trust me when I say, like, I'm sure you guys are like me. You're all your friends' ticket guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
No, we don't get. We're really not. We don't get tickets. But go ahead.
No. But people still ask.
People call you.
All your friends. Everyone of your
Yeah.
friends. You're the ticket guy. Which is the most. It's just. And they don't, like, the annoying thing is the event gets closer and they don't do anything. They just think like they're going to magically appear, right? The national championship game on Monday, which I'm going to, is the toughest ticket I've ever seen. I mean, like, honestly, like, normally I've been through a lot of these before where it is hard to get tickets. And I have 4 right now, but I need more. I'm still looking for more. like normally everything works out fine. I mean, and I have started so some of the things that the team, the Falcons are doing is a little funky. And then
it's in Atlanta. Real quick, just explain.
It's in Atlanta.
It's Ohio State,
Notre Dame,
which is huge.
Two big.
It's in Atlanta. It's at the Mercedes-Benz Arena.
Yes, right. So,
home of the Falcons.
So, what one of my friends told me was that he heard, and I later confirmed, the college football playoff only allotted 4,000 tickets to each school. The rest are going to Aflac and State Farm and it's so obnoxious because it's normally I could go through the football program. I could go to the coaches I know and they'd be like, yeah, we'll get it to your request to the ticket office, no problem.
As a Buckeye booster, you must get early access.
But I'm serious. It's now everything is so
corporate.
Yeah. And then the Falcons pull back some, and then they jack up the price on people. It's everyone's making money on it, and it's it just sucks.
So you bought the tickets?
I have 4 that I was able to get. Yeah, and they're not great seats, but the face on those was $550 a piece. Those are in the 300s.
So I'm not kidding around. Can you will you be on the field during the game?
I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe. Yeah, because you can. For you, I know not your friends, but for you, if you had to, could you go to Ryan?
I could get some. I mean,
could you go to Ryan Day? Hey, can I just stand on the field
during the game? I mean, during the game would be more difficult, but I could probably get post and pre. Yeah.
Yeah. But who wants that? That's annoying.
I mean,
that's more annoying than anything.
I do have a friend at ESPN who offered to me hey, you want to come stand with me? And I was I sort of was in. That was intriguing to me, the idea of it, but then you're on field level. Are you really getting to watch it? You know what I mean?
And if you want to drink with your friends and stuff, and you want to drink with your friends.
If I can't show up there after I just spent 3 hours at the bar.
Right.
Now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally get that.
One of those wake up calls we used to give you.
It's fine if I've had a few and then I'm on the field post game when everybody's celebrating. It's another thing if it's the third quarter and I'm kind of fading.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you'll see people you have to work with and stuff. So how much is it? I don't even know if you probably looked into it. How much is it secondary market for a decent seat to the national championship game?
So I mean, I think it was somebody told me it was $8,000.
Oh, Jesus
oh my God!
In the 100s. I'd have to look at it again. I may have come down. It went back up again yesterday. Apparently,
I know, but down to what?
No. What happened was, I guess what my one friend was telling me was he's monitoring it, and he was it went back up yesterday, and he understands this stuff, and he said I think what it was that the schools released all the tickets. So the schools get the tickets. They hadn't released them yet, so they released them yesterday, and now all of a sudden that creates another just swell in the ticket market. So I think you're right though. With an event like this, my guess is they will probably drop significantly on Saturday, because what I think will wind up happening is if you don't have a flight to the game now, because this is all the reason it's so high for events like this is because people want to know. I don't want to go down there without having a ticket in hand. You get to Saturday, Sunday, the game's on Monday. Now it's a little bit more if you're not local, it's hard to go.
Well,
to the game.
It's also is that if I've bought a bunch of tickets just for the purpose of selling them, which is what is really going on, and it gets closer to the game, I can go pie in the sky, and for the reason that people want to have tickets in hand before they go there, I jack the price up. Then the idea that Eddie Trunk even says this, the idea is that once you get closer to the event, people that have asked for a lot of money and invested in a lot of the tickets they want to get rid of, because they've bought them just to get rid of them.
Right.
They start panicking a little bit, and then they got to dump them. So they're going to dump them for a profit still. You don't want to get too greedy with it, but, if I've listed something at $8,000 and let's say I paid $2,500 for it, I'll lower that to $5,000.
Well, did you guys
double my money?
Did you guys see the Vikings ticket story I did?
No.
You got the Vikings-Lions game a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah. The Vikings bought like $1 million in ticket. Yeah, okay. So tell the story. Yeah, the Vikings bought what?
So the Vikings bought. I gotta get the numbers up. They wound up taking like a $2 million loss on it, but the Vikings bought 2,000 tickets, in the 100s behind their bench.
Okay.
On the secondary market, and then turned around and offered them to their season ticket holders. And they couldn't sell all of them. And but they gave some of them to stakeholders and everything else.
Sure.
There was some question whether or not it was a salary cap violation. But the average price of the ticket, I think, was $1,000. So they wound up spending $2 million on seats behind their own bench to try to put some Viking people in the stands. I think do something nice for, staff families, everything else, players' families, and then like create some sort of presence in the stands. And the Lions caught them. And there was one ticket. Hold on, I'm going to pull up the story because the ticket, they figured out this one ticket because you can track all of it now. The teams can track all of it. Hold on.
By the way, your get-in price right now for the national championship, $16.50, and that is section 325, row 33.
That's like back corner, top roll, top bowl. Yeah.
You might as well not be there.
Yeah. No, you watch the game on television.
I mean, the
man.
comparable seats to where you and I are sitting for the game tomorrow night, there's two available right now. They're $9,900 each.
Oh, my God.
It's a lot of money to go to.
I'm telling you.
Saying, they're going to drop.
And
to what? What are they dropping to, Bart?
And again, that's not $20,000. By the time they've added in the fees,
the fees is like $30,000.
$25,000.
Yeah, $25,000 for to go to a football game.
Okay, so here's this one ticket they tracked, right? One ticket holder sold their seat on the secondary market for $724. The buyer then turned around and sold the ticket to Advantage Ticket, a company the Vikings worked with, for $1,200. The Vikings then sold the ticket to a season ticket holder for $300. The season ticket holder in turn sold it back on the secondary market for $690. That buyer was potentially a broker since that ticket is back in the market again.
Yeah. So, they try to do a nice thing and look where it got.
Yeah.
They try to do a nice thing and people.
Doesn't it kind of piss you off though? Like that there's some like dude with an algorithm who's going on there and like gobbling up all the tickets and just pushing them onto the secondary market.
Yeah, because it's not even that they're making money; it's that service charge. Like because now like on top of the extra money I got to pay on the secondary market, I got to pay a service charge. But
it was better when scalping was illegal.
Yeah, it was, but Ticketmaster, like, okay, so my daughter wants to see Tyler, the Creator, in June here, or July, whenever it is. So American Express had a early on sale. So I'm buying them face value, early on sale. The service charge was still, I think, 20%, 25%. I mean, it was still, the tickets ended up being $1,100 a piece to see Tyler, the Creator. At the Garden. And I'm not like in the front row.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even in front of the stage. I'm in like one of the sides.
Yeah, in the loge.
In the loge.
What did it cost our dads to bring us to like a baseball game?
Well, my dad only took me to one, so I don't
know. But if you think,
my dad took me to two.
Really? Not that. Like, I mean, I remember like when we were kids. Like all right, so like I remember in the '90s. You could go get a ticket. I think it was like $6 for a ticket to Bleachers or something like that.
I go in the 90s. I go a little further back. Bleacher seats were less than that. They were like $4.
Atlanta was $1, and you could get a ride from the bar I worked at for free, there and back, on a bus. And everyone that worked at the bar in the right field.
$1, like around 2000, like in that, like when you were living there.
Yeah, it was from 99 to 2000. It was they had $1 tickets, and then you could get up into the bar that was in the right center field, and then everyone that worked at that place were bartenders that you knew, so beer was free. So I could get to and from a Braves game, drink, and do everything else for $1.
So I think there's going to be a cost to this for sports teams because with all the stuff of making it more difficult where you have to pay to watch it on TV, like the stuff at the regional sports networks, where there's all these different services that you have to have, and you're pricing out like middle-class families who, like, how are those kids going to be introduced to those teams? if it's that expensive to go to a baseball game or a basketball game or a hockey game, if it's that expensive to watch the teams on TV, like how are kids going to be like we were when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and they get hooked and they watch it all the time? Like, how is that going to happen?
Okay, but how about this? It's already happening. So NBA's ratings are way, way down. And part of the reason that JJ Redick will tell you it's hard to find games. So that's that. Look at Bruins aren't selling out games. So you raise the tickets to a certain price when your team's great and everyone, the city's on fire, people pay. But the minute you get bad, 2006, I've said it before, you couldn't give away tickets to Bruins games. So as Mark Cuban said, fat pigs get slaughtered. And the NFL right now it couldn't be any bigger than it is. I'm aware of it's like 88 of the top 100 television shows were NFL, but there is a tipping point. And you can push it. But then when we were kids also, Bert, there were teams, a lot of them here in New England. No one went to games.
Yep.
No one went to Lions games. No one went to Patriots games.
They had the hometown blackout rule. You couldn't watch them on TV.
No one went to Jet games. And for all the
it was great. We would get all the NFC East games.
And Beasley Reese when they were on.
And by the way, for all the rhapsodizing about like how popular the Red Sox were, and you could call into radio and like go over everything that happened in the game, go watch when Nesson plays like a Roger Clemens game. It's like 5 people at those games.
Yeah.
So
that was the 20 strikeout game. There was no one at that game.
They show that, and you turn it on, and you're like, oh, wow, it must be packed. And you're like, no, there's less. There's more people now than there was then.
It's true.
All right, very good. Bert will stay with us. We'll talk about what's going on with the Patriots and so much more in just a moment.
Touch it. and Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr.
Dallas didn't know that, what was going on, and he didn't know Dallas was going to be available. Is there any way? What are you hearing about Belichick and the chances of him not taking the North Carolina job?
I mean, I think he stays there. It's very delicate from this standpoint. If you're Bill, the only way this really works is if somebody just flat out offers you the job. Because how are you going to go in and interview for like 3 or 4 hours with Jerry Jones? Like, how are you going to pull that off? Like, it just logistically doesn't make sense because you're out recruiting. You can't have recruits know that you're looking around because what parent's going to send their kid to go play for a guy who is already sniffing around other jobs, right? So it's going to kill you there. And it's obviously, I would think, going to piss off the people who are paying your salary. So to me, like, if you do it after a year, after 2 years, that's different. If you're doing it now, I feel like it almost has to be like Jerry Jones coming to you and the job saying the job's yours if you want it.
Okay, you worked in Dallas. Is Jerry Jones going to come to Belichick and say, "Do you want the job?"
I don't know. I mean, there's part of me so they have a really good relationship, and that's been well documented. There's part of me that thinks that Jerry would love the story of it, would love what it would create for him. I also know what it was like for him at the end with Parcells and how he sort of wanted to get his team back, and like as much as Bill Parcells is the guy who kind of revived the Cowboys brand. If you guys remember, like they went through, it was Jimmy, then it was Barry Switzer, then I believe it was Chan Gailey for a couple of years.
Campo as
then
well.
Campo after that.
Yeah, we
right?
were talking about this a couple of days ago.
And so like they had gotten to the point where it was that they'd gone from like being a dynasty to as close to irrelevant as the Cowboys possibly could be. And the Parcells was the one who really revived the brand, but it required Jerry did it for two reasons. One, credibility from a football standpoint. Two, credibility in the community too, because they were trying to build the stadium at the time, and it worked. It worked on both counts. They got the stadium built. They revived the brand. Like, I don't think they've taken a huge step back since then. They've really sort of been what they are since then. So like it did so much good, but at the end, like what you kept hearing was like Jerry's not having fun. Like, this isn't why Jerry.
Because you can't dance around on the sideline and hold press conferences.
This isn't why Jerry bought the team, and so like I do think like there would be that element of it, like where he knows Belichick's just like Parcells, so it's like. If I do this, do I have to take a step back?
There's another guy who keeps popping up, and it's Deion Sanders. And apparently the conversations took place, and Deion said, "No, I'm happy here, but I have a story here from Jane Slater, who writes for the NFL
Jane knows
Network."
her stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it says, one thing to watch following Jerry Jones and his discussions with Deion. Two people with knowledge of the situation tell me Sanders approached Colorado athletic director to ask about additional NIL money and a bump in salaries for his coaches. They were turned down. Something to watch for. Deion has already said no, but he took it back to the Colorado AD, and the AD said, you have what you have. Could Deion turn around? I mean, I guess my point is that isn't dead yet, or it doesn't seem like it's dead yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I mean, Jerry loves Deion. Jerry loves Deion, and Jerry loves the spotlight, and we know what this would mean for.
You want flash and a guy who will still listen to Jerry. That's the guy.
And I actually have, we all poke fun at it. What he's done at Colorado is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah,
pretty unbelievable.
But he did bring in Travis Hunter and his son.
Yeah, but he did. But that's two players. That's
a quarterback.
Yeah, a quarterback. But like, it's tough. That was maybe the worst major conference program in the country, and they were really, really bad when he got there. And so like I think like what the mistake people make with Deion, he's actually like really old school. Like if you listen to the way he talks and the way he addresses his team and the way he disciplines people,
the way he raps too, very old
he's
school.
He's very old school. So like I think there's a lot of like Saban and Belichick to him. I think he has an idea of what he wants, and I think he could set up a program. I think he'd need a lot of support. You know what I mean? Like, I think you would have to, if you were going to hire him as an NFL coach, it would be, all right, like, what's your plan for running the offense? Who's your coordinator? Who's going to be the coordinator if you lose that coordinator? What's your defense look like? like I think you'd have to set all of that up. But just as far as like having the bones of how to put together a program, he's now done it twice. He did it at Jackson State, quick turnaround, they win big. He's done it at Colorado now, which is a really difficult place to win. So
but Jerry would hire him. Jerry would absolutely hire him, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying absolutely. I think it intrigues him though.
Oh, that would be so great.
It would be fantastic.
Man, would that be?
And what if they trade
Would you quit your job to recover the Cowboys again?
Trading?
Trade Prescott for the number 1 pick and take Sanders. And if I'm
that's
Tennessee,
not happening, but
why not? First of all, Tennessee would do it in 10 seconds.
You think so?
Bert, to get a stat, I know you have to pay him,
Dak.
but to get
But Dak's what? How old is Dak now? Dak's 33?
whatever. I'd rather have Dak Prescott than some kid that would have gone, in the second round last year.
31?
Oh, 31.
If I'm Tennessee and you're going to give me Dak Prescott for the opportunity to draft Shedeur Sanders, I'm taking it. I mean, you have to give me something else because I'm taking on all that salary. But if you gave me Dak Prescott in like a second.
It's a big contract you're inheriting.
Dead cap money for Dallas would kill him. There's no way you can do that.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys remember the Deion commercial?
That sucks that there's dead. Hang on a second. That sucks that there's. I remember a lot about Deion.
I'm looking at this. If they traded him this year, and Bert, maybe you.
Why is that a rule? Why can't you trade away a big contract?
Well over $100 million of dead cap money.
Well, no, you can, but like it's.
Why is there still dead cap money if you trade him away?
So that's part of the problem because you've already paid him. Basically, you've paid him a certain lump sum for taking the contract, right? So like signing bonus, first year money. So there's cash out now that hasn't been accounted for against salary cap.
You
don't
get to take that off.
Yeah. I'll take year 2 of the 4-year, $240 million.
I'll take a look at the
signed.
contract really quick.
Yeah, maybe I have it wrong.
Yeah, why is it $100 million?
It says $151 million, $867,000, whatever.
If they trade him.
Give me 1 second. So if I look at it here,
he'll get it.
His cash out this year. Hold on. So they've already paid him on that contract $86 million. Okay. So basically, if you trade him after the year, you subtract his cap. So it's 86. Cap hit this year was actually 44, but then there's a lot of money that you would have to deal with. So the problem with that is that so if you trade Dak for Shedeur, part of the idea would be like, okay, we're going to have a quarterback on a rookie contract. But the dead cap charges that you'd have to deal with coming out of the Dak contract would completely kill the advantage you would get.
All right.
So I don't think it's the idea.
It's math. It's too
the
complicated.
The idea of trading him.
The 2025 dead cap number is $151 million.
Yes, that's
if
what
you
I was
trade
saying.
him.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Why can't you trade forget it.
It's because they've kept. It's because you keep pushing that, kicking the can down the road, and then like there's that number that's out there that somehow you got to deal with.
And I know that you can spread the dead cap money out. That I know because with Rodgers, when they cut Rodgers, they can decide to just eat it this year or spread it out over more time.
I mean, I like the idea of Deion in Dallas is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. It would be fantastic, and it could very well be a huge train wreck, and especially if
it could work.
Like if they somehow,
it's phenomenal.
If they somehow got Shedeur, it would be hysterical. It would be just awesome. It
Hometown boy makes good. He's from Dallas.
Oh yeah. Prime Academy. How long did that last? The high school?
Yeah, it was good academic institution.
Prime Academy. Hometown boy does good. Yep.
Well, they focused too much on scholastics. That was the problem.
Yeah, that's
people
why
thought they'd be going there because it was some kind of a football.
That's why
camp.
it closed after a year.
Yeah,
that's
it was too much. You hitting the books, guys.
I mean, it's a bizarre. I will say this: like that Cowboys situation is wildly unpredictable. They could just hire Kellen Moore. They could do the Deion thing. They could call Bill because they're late to the party. They've cost themselves now the chance to. They can't interview
Ben Johnson in there.
They can't interview the Chiefs or Lions assistants until they're eliminated from the playoffs.
All right, I will say this: how would it look for Bill Belichick to leave North Carolina right now?
Really bad.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any?
I mean, maybe he's at the age where he doesn't care.
Okay, fine. He doesn't care, but like so the NFL is just such a business now.
I mean,
hang on a
see
second.
how little he cares by looking on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Listen,
he's got to take that under consideration.
Jordan still listens, man.
He's got.
We have advice for Jordan like once a week.
There's a picture of Jordan his girlfriend, his 24-year-old
Jordan, big
girlfriend.
listener?
Jordan, his 24-year-old girlfriend, Matt Patricia, and him, all with their arms crossed, watching IMG Academy football.
Really?
Yeah, the three of them were scouting, which is what if I'm a 24-year-old girl, what I want to do.
Does she have a clipboard or
no? But her arms crossed, and she was in rapt attention. If I'm, because I'm a 24-year-old girl, I want my 74-year-old boyfriend to go take me to the IMG Academy, so I have to watch practice. That's exactly what I want to do with my time, especially. But you know what she had earbuds in, and she was listening to Plato.
I saw a video of him.
philosopher.
I don't know if you guys saw it. There was like a cell phone video of Bill.
Did he have his shirt off, frantically looking for his car?
To land. Plato. Socrates.
Yeah. She's a great philosopher. She's mature by her values.
I don't know how he's going to work that
Will you
in.
stop being so disrespectful, Fred? That's how they bonded.
Yeah, she loves statues, and that was as close as she could get to one. She's like, I want something is like a statue, like as old as the great statues of Italy.
On her Instagram story last night, she posted, among other things, she was visited by her guardian angels, ducks. And she also has a picture of her and Bill dressed in some very UNC blue attire, and it says, pictured, two people who are overtly committed to UNC football.
There you go.
And
See, confirmation
while
right
covertly,
there. Look, boom.
Some cheesecake photos of her dressed up in her Tar Heel gear.
I wouldn't say they're cheesecake. I just say that's a lady that's just. Well, the good thing is she's shunning the whole Bill relationship. She's not capitalizing it on it all.
She's not making that her whole identity. Oh, yeah, she is. Sorry. I'm looking at it again.
If you could get her in front of a therapist, the things that she could share. Anyway, just in 30 seconds, I know it's a business. Mm-hmm. If Bill, went out and actively recruited, told school he was going to take the job, got kids to transfer in, and then left before he even coached a game.
It'd be so crappy, wouldn't it?
Yes. Well, it would be such a trip. It would. I mean, you want to talk about a legacy? Like you got the wins record. All right, well, you're a piece of garbage. Like you're a piece.
Do that to like kids who are.
Yeah, like have fun with your record, dumbass. And Phil Perry was playing devil's advocate in here. He's like, well, with NIL, it's different and da-da-da.
It is, but it's
no, but it's not. Because
those kids are committing to come to play for you.
You're
the reason why they're going.
Even if it's the number one guy and he's getting, at North Carolina, $2 million. Say the biggest guy gets $2 million to go to North Carolina, say. Let's just imagine that. He's still putting the future of his career in your hands. Yeah. And now you're hamstringing him. And who's going to coach North Carolina? It's not going to be his kid. So now North Carolina.
It'd be a crappy thing to do.
So now, you think? It would show such a lack of honor
and
character that it would. That if anyone applauded him for like taking the Cowboy job and sneaking into that record, congratulations, dickhead! Like you're a piece of garbage. What character you extol? And then if I'm the Cowboys players, F you. I went from McCarthy to your dumb old ass with your psycho relationship on Instagram. Go good, and then you screwed that team over. I like to hear Micah Parsons talk to him. Go talk to Micah Parsons with your rings from 10,000 years ago. All right, very good. I don't like Bill Belichick. Bird Breer is here. We will continue with him in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
It'll be the Celtics and Orlando Magic at TD Garden tonight in the opener of a home back-to-back for the Green. Granting it.
and shoots out the lighting in the top, the top of the stage.
Yeah.
It was, I think it might have been the first Source Awards. And so the Source guys are two dudes from like Harvard that started the Source. And they started, Source Magazine was like the Bible of hip hop.
Yep.
So they started the Source, and they, like Jimmy Iovine and, the producer of We Are the World, Quincy Williams, was like tried to buy it from them. They said no, and so
Quincy Jones.
He started Vibe. Quincy Jones then started Vibe, but these two white kids from Harvard started Source, and so like it becomes this big Bible of hip hop. And they have their first Source Awards, and the dude from Onyx, like the lead guy from Onyx, gets on stage and just starts shooting off a handgun, and they're like, oh, okay, he's got a handgun, like it's weird. But then the lighting fixtures start shattering and falling, and they're like, oh, no, he's shooting bullets in the air.
Oh, no.
Live rounds.
These are live rounds. All right, quick coaching. Kevin O'Connell is in his last year with the Vikings. There's talk of discourse. He's had to come out and say there's not. Is Kevin O'Connell in danger of the Vikings not being able to keep him?
I don't think so, because I think the Vikings are stuck. This is an example of, I think, a team not having a ton of foresight. They did a 4-year deal with him to match their general manager, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. When they hired him in 2022, they didn't put a 5th-year option on that, which winds up working to O'Connell's benefit. And they could have gone and done his deal last year. Like I don't know. I was pretty convinced after 2 years that O'Connell was a really good hire, weren't you? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, based on like what we had, like, and he initially was, and what he and his camp did was they communicated to the teams that were no's before they put in a request. So like, we don't want to embarrass you. So just look, we're not going to interview with you. Don't put in a request.
So you told the Jets and the Raiders don't.
So told the Raiders don't put in. It was communicated to the Raiders, don't put in a request, and they put one in anyway. And it's kind of like, what the hell? And then Brady called Ben Johnson's people, and basically, more or less said, like, this is not the old Raiders. You don't need to worry about all the stuff that other Raider coaches have had to worry about. We're going to insulate Ben if he comes here. We've got big money that's bought into the team. There's this guy, Egan Durbin. He's the CEO of Silver Lake, who I think's worth, $7 billion, who's going to help bankroll some stuff there. They're going to have resources. Tom Wagner came with Brady. He's Brady's money guy. So there's more money there now, and they're basically saying to Ben, what we can offer you that's a little different than the other places is a completely blank slate. And you'll be able to start from zero, and you're going to be able to build it from the ground up. Now, why that would be attractive?
Yeah.
Why that would be attractive to Ben Johnson is that's exactly what he saw happen in Detroit, and I think that's what Ben's looking for. Ben's looking for a place where he can align with the GM, where if he goes there, he'd be able to effectively help pick his own GM, and then alignment, and then an ownership group that's willing to look at and fix its mistakes. And if Brady is involved, and he's not going to be there day to day, but if Brady is involved, that'd be a step in the right direction as far as fixing stuff. So I still think the Jaguars are in play for Ben Johnson. The Bears are still in play for Ben Johnson. The Raiders are really interesting, though.
Okay, and you think for sure he takes a job?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I could see him going back to Detroit if things get wonky at the end, but I think he probably takes one.
How did Brady manage to talk to Ben Johnson as a Fox commentator before the Green Bay game?
No, he didn't. Oh, you mean before the Green Bay game? What are you talking about?
He talked to Ben Johnson before the Green Bay game that he was covering.
Oh, and they had him? Because you're standing on the field.
Yes.
Yeah,
but that's not tampering? And then you go and turn around and tell the guy?
And that's
Fox has a Lions game this week, and they have them next week, and they could have them in the Super Bowl.
So this is interesting. Someone said to me, so Brady has the Lions game this week.
Yes, that's what we were talking about.
So he has the game this week.
And next week in the Super Bowl.
So somebody said this to me, that if somebody texted me last night, if I was Shad Khan, I'd get myself credentialed for the Fox game on Sunday or on Saturday and go just walk up and start talking to Ben Johnson.
Seriously.
If you're the Jags owner, would you not do that?
Yeah,
Yes.
and you know what else I would do? If I was Fox, I'd go get out of the booth.
Yeah.
Because by the way, what are you going to say?
I'm not sure how long he's going to be.
What are you going to say about the Lions? How are you going to look? I want the Lions to win, But how are you going to effectively call a game where you're trying to seduce the offensive coordinator? What if the Lions go out and by some miracle, Goff throws 18 interceptions
But
and
that's the
they're
thing
mislined up? They're not lined up, and then he's got to be critical of Ben Johnson? There's no way.
The minute he picked up the phone and started involving himself in the coaching search is where the conflict of interest went from, let's see, like maybe there's something here that's kind of to, oh, man.
Yeah.
Now
He's
it's
on the field before the game. This is out in the open. Most tampering is backroom deals. This is ridiculous.
Well, one thing that you guys obviously don't understand, and next hour we're going to have someone explain it to us, Michael Lombardi. A lot of these conversations are what we call exploratory, and they're just resource calls, Bert. They're not actual interviews, and you're not trying to hire anybody. You're just trying to get the lay of the land as a new executive in the league. So maybe, you got to give Brady credit for doing that. You don't get it. Lombardi does. So he's going to explain it all very succinctly
Keep
a little
that
bit
in mind
later
as
on
you
in the
move
show.
along.
You guys have him coming on?
No, but we have some audio of him explaining it.
I would definitely tune in for that.
You better tune in quick because it would take 10 seconds for him to hang up.
And again,
that would be Jim Gray-ish, right?
He's trying to dumb it down for people like you. Understandably, you're just going to have to eat some humble pie.
You think you know, but you really
don't know.
No more of a leech parasite that makes himself out to be a genius than Michael Lombardi. And people are like, well, he's making $1 million. Yeah, for how many years? What's the aggregate pay on the $1 million he got? 15 years of humiliating himself and doing internet radio to go get $1 million. So he's making $50,000 a year if you extrapolate it over all the time that he didn't have a job. All right, thank you, Bert.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Enjoy Detroit, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it will be fun. All right. Yesterday we had a very special guest. We're not going to replay it, but in case you missed it, it was so magical. And if you've been listening to the show, this particular show, or any time I've been on the radio in Boston, you've heard magical stories about this guy, and I had never gotten to talk to him. And yesterday, the guys presented him to us on the air, and I want to dig in a little deeper and give you some background on the guy. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
home for every Patriots game.
It's going to look different, and it's going to smell different.
WBZ-FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics will entertain Orlando tonight at TD Garden. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The entire roster is available for Joe Mazzulla, and this starts a real tough stretch for the Celtics. They'll host Atlanta tomorrow night and then head out to the West Coast at the beginning of next week. The Bruins are off until tomorrow afternoon when they play Ottawa in Ottawa. In NFL news, the playoffs begin tomorrow in Kansas City. The Chiefs get ready to play Houston in the divisional round at Arrowhead. Then NFC top seed Detroit plays Washington at Ford Field tomorrow night. In basketball news, Hall of Fame Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away yesterday at the age of 90. He'd been battling small cell lung cancer for nearly 2 years. And the New England Revolution have signed 33-year-old free agent forward Maxi Urruti to a one-year contract with a club option. He has played in 295 career MLS games and won a title with Portland back in 2015. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the hearty warm meals at the 99, like the freshly baked home-style chicken pot pie, packed with chicken and topped with a buttery, flaky crust. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach at Boston Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app, the 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
It's called Rising and Grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom
day
right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
Beautiful, my love. Oh, tell me something beautiful.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and you might be saying to yourself, are you brought to a FanDuel Sportsbook? And we say yes. And then you say, who is this gorgeous? Is this Prince?
I'm a robot.
But it's not. It's a man by the name of Al Cole. Now, if I came into Boston in 2006, and I was at WBCN, Hardy was at WBCN, Adam was at WBCN, and there was this talk of this they used to be live DJs on the radio, and including
When was this?
What a concept.
On music
Wow.
radio stations, there were live DJs from not 6 a.m. to midnight, all day long.
24 hours a day. You had to have someone actually controlling the signal that you paid tens of millions of dollars for.
Yeah.
So, like, someone actually had to be sitting there in charge of it. And there was talk of this guy, Al Cole. Now, Al Cole had a late night show. Now, late night, like 2 to 6 a.m., like late night DJs are they're working odd hours.
Yep.
They're taking a lot of phone calls. The people that are up from 2 to 6 a.m. are strange. And there was this talk of this guy that would come into the kitchen and he would have garlic presses and like pasta makers and stuff. Like he was really putting on a show in the kitchen overnight.
Maybe you're the one that's weird.
And so we started investigating who this is, and we found it was a guy named Al Cole.
Right.
And he has this website, alcoholics.com.
Alcoholholic.
Yeah, alcoholic,
Yes.
not alcoholics.
If you're a fan, you're an alcoholic, right?
Right. And so we found it had all these books that he had read about seduction and
My heaven, my angel, I'm blessed by your hunger.
yeah, so stuff like that. So I'd become fascinated. We had played clips of him for almost 20 years.
Wish. A tidal wave.
And we recently played stuff with him, and it sounded a lot like he was trying to start a cult.
Syndicated radio talk show host, singer, now author too, Al Cole.
So yesterday was my birthday, if you didn't hear. And oh boy, we have a caller on that I want to take too. All right, let's get into this. So yesterday we had a surprise guest, and the guy surprised me with Al Cole. And again, Eddie Money, there's just guys that like I will create a character of, and then you get them on the air and it can ruin everything. But sometimes, like Eddie Money, there's been others that they're exactly like how you thought they'd be. And that was the case with Al Cole yesterday. Now, remember, I did not know he was coming on the air. We're not replaying the whole thing. But we do want to revisit this a little bit. This is the guys springing him on me.
Not only a broadcaster, but he's also an author. He's a multimedia sensation. And he has captured the imagination, the minds, and most importantly, the hearts of so many people. Not only in Boston, but now the world over, thanks to the World Wide Web.
Oh, no.
A man who is joined.
And that's when I get it. That's when I understand what's going on.
Was it the music? Was it the multimedia sensation?
Yeah, like I was thinking about it because, like, I thought you might spring, like, someone, like, I didn't like on the air. And so, like, I was going to get into it with them. And I thought that might be funny, but I got nervous because then I have to perform. And then at that point, I realized... for whatever reason, I realized it was probably Al Cole. No one had told me, but I realized it was Al Cole, and I knew it was going to be fun, so I got, like, legit excited. Oh, no!
A man who is joining us right now to help you celebrate your 50th birthday is a very special guest from CBS Radio.
Yeah,
Please welcome Al Cole.
Oh, my God. Yeah. The great broadcaster Al Cole. The seductive Al Cole. Oh, boy, this is a great treat. What a treat on my 50th birthday. Al Cole, hello.
I love it. Hey, I love you guys. Happy birthday, man. You know, like they say, it's my birthday too, man.
Yeah, sure. So anyway.
Now, just to recap, when I said from CBS Radio, that is how Al wanted to be introduced, and you had, like, just a little quip there as in, like, oh, yeah, whatever. The reason why that's kind of funny is I don't know that CBS Radio is a thing.
It stopped
anymore.
being a thing in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, he loves the CBS Radio.
division.
So
it's a good sounding moniker.
So at this point, none of us know what Al Cole's like. None of us have ever talked to him. We just know he's a great singer and a seducer.
Yes.
So let me hear how this starts. Give me some advice on how. Okay, so now he's gone into it like he's happy to be on the show. So now we get down to business with Al. So now we don't know, is Al really like he is in his audio books and songs and video presentations? Think Tim and Eric, unironically. That is what his videos look like. It's like AI Al, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we get into it. Give me some advice on how to seduce a woman. You're so good.
Oh, I will tell you, man. You know, one thing is women love a man's mind. It's not just the body. It's not just the face.
That's good news.
The mind, man. When you start to talk deep to a woman, I mean, not that superficial depth, but you really start talking about the things that get to her lifestyle. And most women are looking for love. Okay, we know that. And we take advantage of it all the time. But love, it's not just sex. Love is, understanding what somebody's feelings really are, where they want to go in life. Well, that's the first thing. You start talking about and you can prompt that right away.
All right, so you can prompt it right away.
Maybe that gets your antenna up.
Now, my antenna's up. I'm a single man. I want to prompt this right away. Al Cole is swimming in it. How do you prompt this? So I'll be the lady, and I'm at wherever we are, where I'm at the bar, and you come up to me, take me through. Please take me through this. I need this help. Take me through. You're coming up to me, so you engage me. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing is, there's something different about you. I'm not really sure what it is. What's your name again? I think I might have overheard it or something.
Okay, so he's now talking to himself. I envisioned the role play, me playing the role of the girl.
Right, you could have, chimed in here a little bit, Fred. This is where, Al had to cover for you because you weren't doing the role play. So you're hearing Al doing both sides of the conversation.
Well, it was more like I was giving Al space, and he just said, "I'll play the girl too." Right. So, so I'm like, Al, I'm not going to stand in your way. I'm not going to interrupt you. You do both. I'll sit this one out.
I invented my own system of numerology at one time, and I can tell you that means 8 in numerology.
Sure.
According to the thing that I made up. And that is a fact.
Her name means 8. Okay. This is how
so
to
what?
pick up-
So it means 8. So what? What does that mean?
Well, he inferred that that's a very sexual.
Yes.
8 is a very, very seductive number. Oh, really?
And according to some, it's enough.
Tell me more about this. You have a certain glamour about you that comes from the inside. There's something about you that I'd like to get to know, and I think a lot of other people get to know, but they're not prepared for it with you. You kind of, you're a powerhouse on the inside. Sometimes you feel a little bit insecure on the outside. I understand that. Oh, that's all right, but I'm looking into your eyes right now. I can see something about you that is so different, so really glamorous. I want you to tell me. Wow, I'm taken by this.
So at this point, we know this is a man who's no stranger to betting a woman.
We're a bit off the rails, but it's okay.
Oh, listen. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm buying in. Now he's convinced me. So what is it like to be Al Cole? We need to know. Have you ever been you're so seductive and you're so understanding of women? Has it ever been a problem? Like there were too many women?
Well, you can't have too many women if every single woman means something to you. Oh yeah, there are times I remember, on a certain New Year's Eve, starting out maybe at 7 a.m, seeing one woman and another woman, another woman, another woman.
So you would you would sleep with numerous women a day?
Not a day, maybe a week.
All right, so there you go. But how does Al meet these women? He mentioned WZLX. Now, remember, he's doing 2 to 6 in the morning on a classic rock station in Boston, right? Now, it's not, L.A. or New York here. I mean, we're already, the gene pool not great. So we're already dealing with it.
It's not Scottsdale.
Yeah, we got a ham tied behind our back already. But now you got to be up between 2 to 6 and calling into a classic rock station. So now everyone's brain is wondering what's going on.
For some reason, you're up at 3 a.m. listening to Foghat.
Exactly. In Boston. So there's like a bit of a, who are you getting?
The WZLX years, women were calling me for just to hear me talk to them. Now, this is something humbling to me. I didn't consider myself a stud. I still don't. I don't consider myself a player. I consider myself deeply involved in human feelings. And it came across in my voice. I met these women.
So these women would call in late night at WZLX, and they weren't all pigs. Some of them were okay looking?
A lot of them were okay looking.
Okay.
It's what you're looking for in a woman, too. A lot of times, I'll tell you.
What do you like in a woman? You tell me.
Brains. Really.
Even if they're fat?
Intelligence. Even if they're fat.
Uh-huh.
Now.
And you can perform even if you're grossed out by how they look, but you can focus on one thing you like about them, and you can perform sexually.
Because you are creating that masculine-feminine energy connection.
Right. So now he's justifying sleeping with the women that call in between 2 to 6 in Boston.
The friendliest, sexiest zombie in the world walks in your front door in the middle of the night and says,
"What do you like in a woman?" You tell me.
Brains.
But listen,
I'm here to eat your brain.
How great to be Al Cole, and no matter what, you can convince yourself that this is a woman I want to have sex with, and we talk about long-term relationships.
Sometimes, even in a new relationship, you can relate to women that way. If you're a guy, a sensitive sort of guy, and they can relate to you if they're the right sort of woman. It's a matter of talking that way a little bit.
Right.
Getting deep, and then, hey, in the bedroom, you can perform because you're not performing just for the body. You're now engrossed in something else. It's taking you to La La Land on some other planet or something.
And that works with your penis. Your penis will get erect.
The penis can do it, man. I'll tell you.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because the penis is guided by the mind. It is not just guided by the physicality. It's guided by something that, we know about human energy.
Yeah. So that's all it takes is that no matter what you're looking at underneath you,
even if they're fat,
you got that going for you. All right. Well, what a treat. Someone who says they were Al Cole's intern is on the phone.
Whoa.
Matt, hello.
Good morning. Happy birthday, Freddie.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, you were an intern for Al Cole?
For WZLX.
Okay.
So I was a WZLX intern for in the summer of 2003. And I can't stress enough how nothing you're saying about this man is an exaggeration. You're not playing it up for a bit. This is all true. The first time I met him, the lights were low. You guys complain about the bright lights in the studio with the cameras and stuff like that. ZLX had this just plastic easel for reading copy and stuff like that above the board. And it had these track lights, and that's all he had on in the studio. So very low lighting. The first time I encountered him, he was talking to a woman on air. She had requested the song Whipping Post, and she was moaning to him, "Al, tie me to the whipping post." This was my first introduction to Al Cole.
Now, how old were you?
College age.
Okay,
like 20 maybe.
So when it doesn't matter. So Al Cole's she's saying, "Oh, Al, tie me to the whipping post," and is Al slyly looking at you?
Into it.
Yeah. Is he? Go ahead.
He's I'm watching and he's not. I'm not getting any eye contact. Thankfully, you know how piercing his eyes are.
Oh,
so I think
blue.
I would have been frozen Medusa-like, but he's having phone sex with this woman on air, and after that, what does he do? Again, not exaggeration. He goes and prepares a full meal in the the kitchen, in the little kitchenette, little radio kitchenette. Oh yeah, no, it's just it's 5 a.m. That's okay. It's time to eat.
So the woman was pleasuring herself while Al talked to her.
It really sounded like that. I'm half asleep. It's 5 a.m. I'm getting there early to help out with the morning show, and it's just the two of us in the studio at the time.
And I like the fact that he's not looking at you and winking. No, he is engrossed in this conversation. He is in the moment.
He's locked in.
Yeah.
He is locked in. He's locked in, and I can only assume that 8 is a sensual number. Freddie, think about that hourglass, baby.
It was not lost on me. I mean, it's
8
obvious.
Is a very, very seductive number.
And according to what I imagine the listeners listening at that time and calling in, 0 is a very seductive number as well, because I would imagine there's a lot of that. All right, Matt, thank you for the inside information. That's the great thing about when radio was live 24 hours a day, is that you got an unironic, not exploitive weirdo, or I should say unique personalities just around. We all have stories. It's a shame that it's not like that anymore, because people wanted the jobs, but if you weren't a kid trying to get into radio, if it was a guy who'd been in radio for a while, an older guy, and they were doing it 2 to 6 in the morning, I mean, that was someone whose life was from 2 to 6 in the morning. I mean, you're getting real, unique, non-ironic, true to the bone, unique fellas.
I'm looking into your eyes right now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he exists. And don't think Al is not going to be back on the show.
Oh, without question. That was that exceeded expectations yesterday.
In fact, when we do the thing,
He's a delight.
This doesn't have to be included in it, but when we do the thing for Steven Singer for Valentine's Day, I think we should probably even just have Al Cole in studio.
Yeah, just to be here to.
I like that.
As a romance conduit and an expert and someone to really establish the right mood.
It's a win-win. You have enough women listening to the show that would call in, and you have enough guys that need advice on where to take women. That's a win.
But we're gonna have couples in here for this particular contest we're doing. We'll announce it closer to Valentine's Day. We have a big prize to give away, but the Al Cole should probably be in here.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I have a feeling you meet Al Cole, you're not disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't think meeting him takes away any of the fun. No. You've met him. I haven't. I usually am hesitant to meet the people I find this unique and interesting. Alcohol, I'm pretty confident you bring him in. Alcohol, you're all right. Guy from Machine Alcohol, you're all right.
Is he local?
Alcohol?
Yeah.
I believe so.
No,
Local
he's in the
enough.
south of France. We have to fly him in from the continent.
The Riviera.
He's taken his riches and moved to Europe.
No, I think he only summers on the continent. I believe he may be. It's probably like Hyannis.
I'm sure there's some F1 race in Morocco that he has to attend. But yes, he will be joining us hopefully very, very often. Well, I can't thank you guys enough. What a treat yesterday to have Al Cole finally to talk to the man. We'll be right back.
The penis is guided by the mind.
on the Sports Hub.
I mean, you just got to continue to stick together, work through the details, the effort, the execution. Just the
birthday. Did you enjoy your birthday, my friend?
Yes, I did. It was a low-key affair, but I did enjoy my birthday. I appreciate you taping that for me, even though I'm not convinced you would know who I am.
Telling the teams I've ever seen, with those starting five, the guys coming off the bench, but they have to put their ass and their nose to the grindstone because other teams are going to come at them, and they have not done that. Joe Mazzulla's been right. I like what he says. I talked to Joe Mazzulla's wife, like John Wallach's wife, and she said one thing that Joe does is he likes controversy. He likes sometimes to get rough and bumpy because it's going to show the character of his team. And so far, the character of his team has not been good in these bumpy times.
Yeah, he referenced that, Max, and I think he actually believes that he enjoys all aspects of the journey. The only thing I would say is it's easier to enjoy all aspects of the journey when you're still have a pretty strong indication in the back of your mind it's going to end up in the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. And, going on a journey after you've already won a championship, yeah, you can have that mindset of embracing these losses to good teams or, underperforming against a team like the Raptors, as long as you still feel and know in your heart that you're much better than the way you're playing right now.
I believe and we all know that they're much better than they're playing right now.
Yeah.
Is Derek White going to be 3 for 33 in the 3-point from the 3-point line? The inconsistency with all their players right now. Jaylen Brown, to me, is one that's really going to be the key because he elevates this team, I think, to another level. And he hasn't reached the level of the MVP that he deserved to be. He has to bring that team to another level. Tatum has been the most consistent guy for you, but everybody else has to step up to yet another level.
Does all the extra basketball they played over the summer, Max, matter at all?
John, you are absolutely. Why do you read my mind, John, the way you do? Playing all the extra basketball, it does. It's going to have a toll on you. But look who played it. Jason Tatum played more than anybody else, but he's been the most consistent guy you've had here, I think, in the last 3 weeks when you've been going through this stretch. So I can't blame it on that. Sometimes championship teams have hiccups, and this team has had 3, 4, 5 hiccups with some of the teams that they've lost to. And it's been embarrassing for them if you look at them as a team consistently. If you play a team like the Raptors, you're supposed to wipe the floor with this team because, yeah, everybody's professional. I get that. But if your talent level is so much better than the other team, I think the biggest thing about the Celtics, and me and Sean Grandy were talking about that, it's been effort, the lack of effort on the defensive end. We've never really questioned this team about that, but that's what I've seen.
Is this a normal thing for a defending NBA champion to go through this?
My team did it in 81. We got swept with the great Larry Bird, Cedric Maxwell, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish by a Milwaukee team one year. 1985, Cedric Maxwell gets hurt. We go through the hiccups and lose to the Lakers. So, yes, it does happen with a bunch of good teams and great teams.
And it doesn't concern you. Does where they finish in the East concern you at all?
That doesn't concern me because, as people have said about this team, they have been the best road team maybe in the history of the NBA in the last 4 or 5 years. So it doesn't concern me where they end up. It concerns me how they're playing at the end of the day, and more so if they are healthy. If this is a healthy team, then I'll take my chances. And I'm going to read John Wallach's mind real quick. Okay. He's going to say, well, do you think that you should make a trade to get another veteran? Or would you roll the dice with the guys you have? I think I roll the dice right now with the guys I have. And because I think that they have the ability to turn it on. It's just right now getting their mindset together to say, we're the world champions. And it's a big test coming up with the teams that you have coming in here and the road trip you have going on. That's going to tell me the real story about this team.
Well, since you just stole my last question, Max, now I have to invent another one. Are you
right.
are you concerned about how well Cleveland is playing? Do you still think this team can beat Cleveland or Oklahoma City in a 7-game series?
John, since you just said that, didn't Cleveland just get beat by what, 22 last night?
They were down 38 after 3, though.
Okay, so you might want to point to something else. I think that Cleveland has played well, but I think in a 7-game series, I think the Celtics are better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they're better than most teams out there. But if they don't play with their heads and get their heads out of their asses, they're going to be home early because most teams are going to come at them. They have the ability, and I think that I'm all for them and what they have, but they have to look in the mirror and say, hey, this is who we are.
Oklahoma City, how are they performing to the level they're at right now? It certainly wasn't shooting percentage last night. You know, their 3-point percentage was awful last night. How are they so good at what they're doing right now?
Guys like people don't know this name, a guy like Lou Dort, who's playing really well for him. Yeah. He's a little pit bull. And they're so scrappy. They're not long, but they're scrappy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been an MVP carrying these guys on the offensive end, and I think that they just play hard every night. One thing about a team like Oklahoma, when they play in a city like that, where you have only one professional team, something about those teams that they can play and maintain a long longevity because they're the kings of the hill. Look at San Antonio, one professional team there. During their stretch, they won a zillion games. This team with Oklahoma, one team in the professional realm, they have won because they've been consistent on the defensive end, and they are dogs when it comes to get at you on the offensive end.
Max, we were talking about J.J. Redick a couple of days ago. From a distance, what is your opinion of him as a head coach and as him dealing with the media?
Isn't he with the Lakers? Don't I dislike people like that?
Yes, you do.
He's also insulted the players of the generation of which you played. Like,
yeah.
JJ
Redick, what I like about it, he's real smart and he's crafty. I don't think that he means to sometimes put his foot in his mouth, and he does. What I look at him as a smart coach, he's trying to get the best out of the Lakers. I think it's a no-win situation. The Laker team, I'm a LeBron James fan, but if he is going to be your best player at 41 years old, you're not going to go but so far because they have to give that mantle over to that other guy and let him be. And Anthony Davis hasn't done that so far, or they haven't released it. That's what I see about their team, and that's what I see about their coach.
Max, real quick, did you hear anything about LeBron James' manager, Maverick Carter, being asked to serve as a consultant to this group who wants to start like an international league that would rival the NBA? Have you heard anything about this?
I have not heard anything. I can't even imagine how that's going to go through. But I look at all the teams who are out there now in the leagues that they're forming. Look at the WNBA has formed yet another league, and they try to rival the NBA. So I don't know how smart that is, because I think the NBA has a brand, and that brand is so strong. And that's not only here, but that's all over the world. Because if I used to go to Korea, and I remember one time walking down the middle of in the street in Itaewon, and I see this big billboard, and it was a picture of Rajon Rondo up there. So the NBA is alive and well. I wouldn't think that it would be but so much.
Why would you go to Korea?
That's where I was getting my clothes made.
No.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah.
You would fly to Korea to get custom clothes made?
Yeah, I would take my material, like get my material from New York, take my material to Korea. I had a great tailor there, and the labor, don't tell nobody, was pretty cheap. So I'd get my.
Were they children or adults?
Whoa! I don't go into shops, buddy. I don't know who's doing what.
Okay.
I don't know if
All right.
Also,
Very
if it's Vince Wong or Eddie Wong or who, I don't know that. That's not my thing.
Was it enough to offset the cost of the flight?
Well, here's again. This is where I'm a little bit over the level here. I was going up flying free because my friend gave me a buddy pass to fly on the airline. So I flew over there free. The labor was cheaper, and I had very good material. So that's why you see me dressed very splendor sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
When was the last time you went to Korea for the clothes?
Probably it was last time I went was about 3 years ago. I think it was just before the pandemic that I went over there, and I went to Itaewon, and it was a bunch of people went there during the time of the Olympics in '88, I think, and that's when I got turned on to this tailor that I have over there, and that's how I've dressed over the last couple of years.
And you'll just go by yourself, and just go to Korea by yourself? Or
Go by myself. I knew a few people who were over there after a while, and stayed at a little mom and pop's hotel, and so the labor, the food, everything was cheap. The hotel had all you could eat breakfast in the morning, although the ladies didn't cook the bacon well, and I didn't like that. They put it like, I hated it because you know how bacon is white. Well, they put it on the oven, it would go, and then they take it off and hand it to you. I was like, well, no. And I finally had the lady, excuse me, could you cook this? You would have thought I'd insulted her family. Oh, my God. That's like, damn. Can you cook it a little bit more? So that was the only thing I did not like about Korea was the food sometimes.
All right. Well, you live a very interesting life, Cedric Maxwell. Not many people can say that.
I do what I can, and I always elevate people when they have a birthday. So that's my key to my life. Always embrace and always tell people, how much you love them and how much you enjoy being around them. So that's why it was so easy for me to talk about your birthday.
Right, because you would know exactly who I am the minute you saw me. Absolutely.
If I saw you in the middle of the street,
yeah, you would go. That is Fred Toucher.
There's that white guy Toucher right there. That's him right there.
But I'm very.
I love you, and I think you know that.
I have very olive skin. All right, Cedric Maxwell, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it every week.
Max. All right, gentlemen, have a good one.
Thanks,
Max. There you go. John knew all that. Knows he's.
I know. No, going there 3 years ago, I didn't know that. We had a discussion when I first started.
Well, if
doing
it's before
games
the
about
pandemic,
that.
it was probably 6. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that he's in recent memory gone to Korea to have suits made.
I didn't know
Get the
that.
material in New York, take it on the airplane, go to Korea, and have your suits made there.
You go to Maria in Korea.
Maybe.
And then see him in Nantucket. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics will play.
this ignorance and arrogance as a combination are a very I don't care for that. I don't think humans. I think that's if I was teaching anything to my kids, it would be like, do not pair ignorance with arrogance. Those two things. Mike Lombardi is the epitome of that. Mike Lombardi has lowered himself as a shill for Bill Belichick as a job that could not have paid well for many, 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 many years. Now Bill has rewarded him with a job at North Carolina. Apparently he's not signed a contract in North Carolina, but that's not uncommon. He's signed a terms deal. I don't know why that is, but he's actively recruiting, but people are saying, could he take the Dallas job, blah, 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 blah. So Mike Lombardi, who has joined at the hip from Belichick and has been a professional shill for him and not a good one, which shows a lack of intelligence from Belichick, too, having this guy do his bidding. It obviously didn't work. I mean, he's the coach at North Carolina. This is not the dream. But his girlfriend, his 24-year-old girlfriend, who is a diehard fan of philosophy, she has, Hardy has told me on Instagram, made it official that they're into it, So anyway, you got her doing that, but what's Lombardi doing? Well,
Lombardi is talking to TMZ Sports, and he is educating Fred. Now, you say ignorance. He's not ignorant. He has a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, and the arrogance comes from the fact that he just knows that you don't. So he's going to instruct us all.
All right. So here is Mike Lombardi talking to TMZ Sports, who have featured me on several occasions, never for good things.
I think everybody is trying to make a story out of something that there's no story, and I get that, he is the greatest coach of all time, and it makes sense that he would work in the NFL, but he has really decided that that's not what he wants to do, as much as people keep trying to place him.
No, he didn't want to coach in the NFL. He wanted the North Carolina job. He wanted a middling ACC school. That's exactly what he wanted. When he called the Jets to ask if they'd hire him this offseason, or during the season when they fired Saleh and they fired their GM Joe Douglas, it is a fact, called the Jets to figure out if they had any interest in him. He said, you know what? I don't. As a matter of fact, I don't want a job. I'll just call the team that I crap on all the time and whose owner I hate. I don't want an NFL job, though.
No, he wants to be the head coach at a football school like North Carolina.
Yeah,
in the ACC.
Again, a jokey Power 5 conference with a very middling team. Congratulations. By the way, and they tore up that tournament, by the way. You'll notice the championship game heavily featured with ACC schools.
The marriage is between North Carolina and Bill Belichick.
And the 24-year-old, who will now get half of his wealth.
She's scouting with him.
She is scouting with him.
She's scouting with him.
Her and Patricia were at IMG Academy, all with their arms crossed, watching football.
Do you think Matt Patricia just gets tired on occasion of being his walk-around guy?
I don't know.
Where do we have to go? We have to go to Florida to a high school?
What else does he have to do?
Okay, Bill.
It's some sort of weird hero worship.
Does Patricia actually have to book the plane tickets? Is that part of the job?
I don't. I would love to explore what's going on there, because like another adult just following another adult around is interesting to me. It is interesting.
And that's what he's committed to doing. He's on the road today. And people say, well, unless we hear from Coach Belichick, Lombardi's can't be the mouthpiece. Well, look, I work with him. I'm with him every single day. Bill does.
No, you're not. He's on the road, and you're where you are. You're not with him today.
You're an administrative assistant, sir. That's what you do.
Don't nitpick.
And do you think, is this his job?
He's with him every single day. Every single day. No, not every single day, but I'm with him every single day. Let the man speak.
Yeah.
Doesn't talk to the media very much, so I will express.
Talks to the media every week. He's still, Jesus Christ, Lombardi. He has media appearances literally every week. You stupid idiot.
You're not even getting the good stuff yet.
Well, listen, I don't like him. You'll have to.
I'm picking that up.
Please.
Yeah.
To everybody how committed he is here as he works on other things. So to me, it's a story that won't go away because the media is convinced itself to keep it going when a lot of stories are just not real. It's fake news, frankly. I don't have a contract signed with North Carolina either. You know, the state of North Carolina requires a lot of due diligence. There's a lot of legal terms in all these contracts. It takes time. Again, 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2 in a lot of situations. But if you're looking for clicks, God, it's good, isn't it? I know that Tom has reached out to a lot of people to learn about what he's doing in the interview process, to understand what it takes to be a great coach in the NFL, what it takes to be a great leader. And I think all those calls are resource calls, not interest calls. And I think people don't understand it because they're not on the call. So they label it as an interest call when, in fact, it's a resource call. And this notion that we're not hiring coaches and the ACC is nervous, another fake news story, because the reality of it is we have hired coaches. We built a whole personnel staff just like the NFL. And that's what we wanted to do first because obviously the portal and transferring and high school recruiting is so important. We can get to the coaches, which we're working on now, but we started with the personnel department.
That's right. The coaches. That's why you announced that you hired 2 coaches less than 12 hours after conducting this interview.
I just don't know why he feels the need. He just needs to talk about Belichick all the time. Just shut up. If nothing's going on, then nothing's going on, you idiot.
Tom Brady's phone calls, too, around the league are resource calls.
No, I believe that Brady called Belichick to, like, ask him advice on hiring a coach.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't think that
makes complete sense.
All Lombardi's saying there is that actually Lombardi there was kind of, I think, transparent, is that he's saying, yeah, Brady might have talked to Belichick, but it certainly wasn't about a job.
Well, we had those reports from Las Vegas that was the case anyway.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any way Brady would hire Belichick for that job. I mean, that would be a terrible decision given the state of that franchise. So, I don't know. Why say anything? Why talk to TMZ Sports?
Because he's not getting enough attention.
And by the way, if I'm Belichick, I love the stories that I could be going to the NFL. They're nice. They make me feel good. Like, so don't pee on them. Like, let them go.
Make me feel real good.
Exactly. And then you can go into living rooms and tell kids. I'll tell you what, if by any chance he took an NFL job this offseason, holy moly. Anyone that was on the side of that happening is you can tell a lot by them. Forget who it was. I don't care if it was my best friend. If my best friend screwed over that school and those students and athletes, whatever, NIL kids, whatever they were, you're still screwing them. Good. Well, they're basically professionals now. Okay. Well, they agreed to come play for you professionally, and then you went and screwed them. You told them to come, and then before you even coached to practice, you kicked them out. So great. If he takes that, it would be really something. And it's really something to me that people just are acting like, yeah, it's business. Yeah, he'd take it. Okay. So nothing matters anymore. Nothing at all matters. Everything comes down to money and records, and that's it. There's nothing. Man is only judged by that. So we're just judged by how much money we have. So we're all screwed. That's the hierarchy right there. There's no moral code or any kind of honor. That's all it is. Screw over everyone. Doesn't matter what you do. That's how you want to be remembered when you die. Is the prick that screwed over all the people. But you got Shula's record. That's all you want. That says a lot about everyone. There you go. Well, there it is. I'm off my high horse now. Kendra is here. I've seen her.
Okay.
So she will be in. We will talk to her in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Celtics will try to pull themselves out of their 500 play as of late when they face Orlando at TD Garden tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Everyone on the Celtics roster is listed as available. In NFL news, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be busy over the next few days as they continue to look for a new head coach. Philadelphia offensive coordinator Kellen Moore will reportedly interview today. Former Jets head coach Robert Saleh tomorrow, and former Buffalo defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier on Sunday. The divisional round of the NFL playoffs begins tomorrow. Houston will visit Kansas City. That game will be followed by the Washington Commanders and the Lions in Detroit tomorrow night. Tom Brady's agent Don Yee said yesterday his client is planning on working all 10 years of his TV contract with Fox while remaining in his minority ownership role with the Las Vegas Raiders. Hall of Fame Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away yesterday at the age of 90. And women's top seed Arena Sabalenka and American Danielle Collins headlined the third-round winners at the Australian Open tennis tournament. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Village Automotive. Village Auto is looking for A technicians to join their team. It's time to put your skills to work where they're truly valued. Visit villageautomotive.com/careers to grow your career and your paycheck today. That's villageautomotive.com/careers. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Fred, what's it like to work with Hardy and Wallach?
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
Of the late auteur.
If you follow Adam on any of his socials, he was all broken up about David Lynch dying.
He honestly, Fred, he might be the like everybody has their like a North Star, a creative person, whether it's an author, filmmaker, a musician, or whatever. I think David Lynch is mine.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm wondering who yours is.
I don't know. I would have to think about it. Creatively,
Soupy Sales. Like someone,
Red
creative person that
Red
you looked
Buttons.
up to that is
Shecky Green
inspired you over the years as a
any
as
of the
creative person.
Great Catskill comics. I'll tell you this. Two things on David Lynch. You don't even do transcendental meditation, which is what his lifeblood was and what he devoted most of his time and money to. So, poser. Second of all, I never liked the explanation of Eraserhead. In that, I should, you know what? I'm not even reading. I got to give you the book from the guy that wrote that song for Eraserhead. I'll just give it to you.
Yeah, please.
I'm not reading it now.
Cool.
Eraserhead is a very disturbing movie visually.
Tough to watch.
And tough to watch, and also not a lot of plot and not a lot of anything that makes sense. And then people would say to David Lynch, "What is it about?" And he would say, "Nothing." And that it came from a dream. And then I said, that's great that you made it. Why would anyone watch it? Like, if there's literally no meaning to it, it's just a series of random images, then I don't know why it needs to be consumed.
He feels compelled to create, whether it's in film or
didn't
music
say that
or,
it was
or
his
art. But I would say I would watch it because I'm interested in his worldview through the art that he creates.
Okay, but there's no worldview in Eraserhead, he claims.
Well, that's his standard answer for any time you ask him any question about anything, any film that he's created. He's like, I'm not like. Again, it comes from a vision that I have. It's up to you as the viewer to interpret it in the manner in which you find value in it.
Right, but you have to have a personal interpretation of it if you're the artist. Right? Like, it has to mean something to you.
It does, but once it's out there, you have no control over it. And that goes for songs, books, movies.
And then it
anything.
taints what people take away from it, because the whole idea for Lynch was to not give you an idea of what he was thinking, because he really wants you to put yourself into what he creates.
But that can go a couple ways, and there's one way that can go, and it does this in music too, where it just becomes nonsense, in my opinion.
Sure.
Anyway, we're debating great art, and that's what this station's for. But you like Eraserhead.
I don't love it. No, I don't love it. I mean, I appreciate that he made it. I think it was an important step for him to take as an artist. But no, the stuff that I love of his comes later.
How about this? I think David Lynch was a brilliant man.
Thank you.
I have read books of his. I'm not
Lynch
even that
Lynch
big.
is a great book to read if you're any sort of creative.
And I'm not that big a fan of his movies, but I do believe he was brilliant creatively. How about that? I'll tell you that. But Eraserhead's crap. All right. So anyway, Kendra Middleton is here. I'm sure she's gotten into great detail about her road trip that went awry. Her trip where her and her friend decided it would be cute to drive from Dallas through Indianapolis to Boston in the middle of winter. And they hit snow.
Yes, we discussed this.
Yes.
I sent her the cover of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and it was like hell on earth or something. And I'm like, oh, you're driving through Missouri.
Oh, nice.
So I'm glad you're safe.
Thank you.
Thank
It's my
you.
first crash, hopefully my last.
It will not be. We are all destined to have at least a few fender benders and in crashes. All right, Kendra's brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, Kendra, we were talking about this off the air. So there was a situation in Philadelphia that we hit on yesterday where a man at a Philadelphia Eagles game. So the Philadelphia Eagles are playing the Green Bay Packers. All of a sudden, video starts, and there's a guy talking to an Eagle, a guy you assume is a Green Bay fan. There's a woman in the front, and in behind her is a man. And the man is in the middle of telling her, like, you're a dumbass. Why they shouldn't have gone. They didn't get into the end zone, right? And she goes, and then the guy who's filming says something. Then the Eagles fan goes, she's an dumb, ugly C word. And then he goes, what? And he goes, she's a dumb, ugly C word. And the guy who's filming goes, oh, okay. And then stops it. Okay. Fast forward to after the game. The guy who filmed it says this Eagles fan was calling my wife bad names during the game just because we were Green Bay Packers fans. And he sends it out a couple days later. It turns out this guy works for a diversity consulting firm that literally works with businesses to be more diverse and sympathetic to differences in people. So they obviously have to fire the guy, and now he is fired, and his life is ruined. I mean, everyone knows his name, and his life is ruined. Now, Kendra, if you are at a game, say you and I are at a game, you and I are together. Like, it's just me and you. And this guy, and we're wearing Jacksonville Jaguars gear, and we're playing whatever rival they pretend to have. And the guy from the rival team starts, like, calling you a dumbass. And I go, hey, shut up. And then he goes, no, what are you going to do about it? Okay. Would you, A, want me to fight him? B, want me to go to security and have him removed? Or C, pull out my phone and start taping him?
Well, did you find out? I don't know if you know this. You know the guy was a YouTuber, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So personally, I've actually been through this before at away stadiums because I do like to.
I have too.
Yeah, and so I've had like a man pull my hair before, actually.
Okay, well, that's assault.
Yes. But so I think the right way to handle it, I do think that now that you have the ability to film it, why wouldn't you? Like, it's evidence, whatever. I wouldn't have wanted you to fight him because you're just going to get jumped by a bunch of Eagles fans at the end of the day. That's
There's a lot separating you from them, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's not ideal to me. But me personally, I probably would have just started yelling at him back. And I know that that's not like the ideal scenario for every other woman, but what are you going to do? Hit a girl? Please, like, hit me.
Mm-hmm. So my idea is this, is that if I'm the girl, I'm like, why are you posting this video of this guy calling me ugly?
Yeah, that's also awkward. But I mean, if you're a YouTuber, I guess that's kind of part of the deal.
Yeah, but you're my girl. You're my fiance. If I'm the fiance, I'm like, dumbass.
Yeah.
Stand up for me, stupid. Don't like put a film out of me being called ugly and then have everyone judge me and then put it in your pocket and then walk away and go, gotcha now. And here's my other thing. Obviously, people are psychopaths. The guy at the stadium is a nut. I don't know why he puts on Eagles gear and goes to a stadium and then thinks he can just start talking to people like that. He's obviously out of his mind.
Yeah.
He should be banned from these Eagle games. He should have been kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
No, I know he is. But he should be kicked out of the game. Here's my other thing with the YouTuber that filmed it. Now you've ruined someone's life.
Yeah.
And so this guy is a dick, and he like talked crap to your fiance, and he called her the C word, and that's not cool. And he should be removed. He should have been removed from the game. And the Eagles, if I was the Eagles, I'd be like, he'd never come back. But now you've ruined his life.
Yeah.
So the punishment for him being a dick to your fiance is that now his life is ruined. So you didn't hit him in the face. You didn't get him kicked out of the game. You didn't embarrass him in front of the section. You embarrassed him to the world. And now you have someone out there whose life you've ruined.
And has all the time in the world.
Yeah, and he
just karma. You believe in karma and stuff like that. You believe in like a world energy. You do.
Yeah, an energy. Yeah, I don't know if I believe in karma.
Whatever you believe in, that's a bold thing to put out in the universe.
The other thing is, too, is that, like, he's kind of ruined his own life at this point because now nobody's going to tune into your stupid YouTube channel. And when they do, you're just going to have Eagles fans screaming "Go Birds" in your comments. But the other thing is that I don't think I would have gone to security either, because if they remove that guy, now you've got to sit in your seats with all of his buddies that you just had his friend kicked out of the game with. Like, that's not
I was just
either.
giving other options.
No, I know, but like that's what a lot of people online have been saying, is that they should have gone to security. But I don't think that that's a
I
great
wouldn't have
option
gone to
either.
security
No.
either. What I would have done is, to tell you the truth, I would have gone like, shut the hell up. And then he was going to go, what are you going to do about it? I go, what were you going to do about it? What do you want to do? You want to fight at the game? And then hope that diffused it. And then, but I certainly wouldn't have taped it. When I got into it with the Lyft driver, who had every right to do what he did, and he was saying he was going to come back and
Wait,
kick my ass.
Did you get into it with a Lyft driver?
Yeah.
When was this?
Outside his home.
Me and my kids were coming back from the holiday pops. And
This year?
This year. This Christmas.
last month.
And someone broke wind, who knows who. And the driver rolled down the window. And it was 26 degrees outside, believe me, and he kept the window down for 29 minutes. He just kept the window down, and no one said anything, and my kids were giggling. And I was telling them to shut up, but they were giggling. When we got back to my house, I said, thanks a lot for keeping the window down the whole ride. And then the guy goes like, someone farted. I go, they're kids. And he goes, my kids, I have kids, they don't fart. Like, and I go, what do you, and he goes, you're lucky I'm driving. I go, you're not going to do anything. And he's like, I'll come back and kick your ass. And I'm like, you're not going to do ass. Get out of here. You're not going to do anything. And I could have taped the guy and been like, oh, look, look at this Lyft driver. Don't let him ever drive a car again. Let's ruin his provision. I wasn't going to go tape the guy.
No, you just talked about him on the air for.
No one knows who he is.
I've actually tried to seek the man out to apologize on your behalf.
Thank you.
Because not so much for the fart as for slamming his door, which you claim you didn't do, but I'm convinced in my heart you did.
Not poking him by saying thanks for keeping the window down for half an hour.
He also blamed his kids for farting. That's not fair.
I didn't say anything. I didn't talk about it for he did.
Well, I know, but I'm saying you were like, I have kids, like they're just kids. That's blaming the kids.
But they're kids. I mean,
but it was you.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Oh, I thought it was you.
No, all I can tell you for sure, because I've had this conversation with all involved, all I can tell you for sure is it was not me. It wasn't me. So I didn't do anything, as a matter of fact. Oh yeah, I forgot. Hardy is big on, the guy claims that when the guy goes, my kids don't fart, that's when he went, you slammed the door. That's when that happened. But anyway, if I'm the woman in that situation at the Green Bay game, everyone knows I'm a hero.
I think they both suck.
Yes. I think that's what the conclusion I come to is you all suck. And if I'm the woman, I'm like, way to go, like, tough guy. Like, now you filmed it. Now I'm on the internet with this guy calling me ugly. And now I got to deal with this for the next 6 months or month of everyone coming after me as the ugly chick in the Green Bay jacket. She's not even ugly. But this, now I'm the ugly chick in the Green Bay with the pussy husband.
Yeah, my thing is that if you're gonna C-bomb me, it just sucks when guys do that because there's no equivalent for me to call you back. It doesn't matter what kind
Call him fat and ugly.
But what kind of
Call him fat and ugly.
It
doesn't matter. Yeah. It's worse. It's 100 times worse. You're fat and ugly. Look at you, you big, fat, ugly piece of garbage.
It's almost funnier when it's PG chirping.
Yeah, you don't have to swear. Just turn around and go, dude, you are so fat and ugly. Yeah, no. Look at how fat and ugly you are. You are such a piece of garbage. I don't know. I have so many female friends that would not even talk to you. You fat piece of garbage.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I would have argued with the guy back, but that's just me.
But
and
no, that's the right.
Now I would have filmed that.
Well, that's the thing.
That I would have filmed.
It's way funnier if your wife or girlfriend can give crap back to grown men and just embarrass them.
Well, then it's
that's
funny.
The worst thing you can do.
Well, then it's funny.
That's the whole thing.
If the guy goes, "You're a C word," and she goes, "You are so fat and ugly. Look at you, you loser. You're so fat." Can you imagine you'd have to lift your fat up even to expose your penis, you fat
self. What woman would be with you?
What woman would be with you? And he's like, oh, whatever, you
C
word. And he's like, I'll hit you. Is that what you do? Is that what you do? You can't get laid. You can't penetrate. Yeah. There's no vagina that will have you. So now your instinct is to hit. That is, I'm telling you, that's a video. And then the guy's got to sit there like a dumbass taking it.
That's right. He doesn't get kicked out. He gets made fun of by all of his friends for the rest
That's
of
what
the
I'm
game.
saying. It's way funnier if your girl can give it back than you just filming some
Yeah.
loser being a typical Eagles fan.
And if he's not fat or ugly, you really got to tap into your intellect here and try and pinpoint the one thing that might really bother that guy. It's the John Mulaney method of he says 13-year-olds are the meanest people on the planet.
Oh, they are.
Like
It's
walking down the street and they're like, Look at you with your high waist. You got hips like a woman.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's the one thing I'm sensitive about.
Or like, hey,
you
Pop
don't
Mart-
say- You can tell. You can say anything but that.
Say he's in good shape.
Do you know who Slender Man is? Do you guys know about Slender Man?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's probably where I would have gone with that because that's easy to do.
Like, hey, Bitcoin. You're really making a mint here in the 300s.
That's pretty good, too.
Yeah, like, oh, look at you, king of industry, in the effing 300 section, yelling at girls.
Broke.
You must be. When's the surgery that you're due to perform with your Eagles jacket on, you stupid hick? Where in Philadelphia do you live, you piece of garbage? Yeah, that's what you do.
By the way, all your friends who are here with you right now hate you and talk about you behind your back.
Yeah, like they're all enjoying this immensely. This is what they want to do today is yell at chicks. So there you go. We're on the same page with that.
Well, you know, at least I know that one man in this room would defend my honor.
John Wallach.
No.
John Wallach would do it.
Hardy would say something.
Fred Toucher.
Hardy would absolutely
I
say
think
something.
watching Hardy go after an Eagles fan would be elite.
I've told the story on the air of the one time. There's been two, but there was one time when I really lost my mind. It was something that where my wife and I were together, and I put myself in more danger that day, going after not one but three guys. And in the moment, I didn't care. They probably, and they would have absolutely beaten me to a pulp. But I was so enraged that it didn't matter. And after the fact, she told me it was a big turn on. I'm like, I'm glad you're turned on right now. But now that I've had time to process it, I think I'm going to throw up. The adrenaline is gone. I feel sick to my stomach, and I'm really scared.
Yeah, there was.
So this is probably going to take away all the sexiness you're feeling. About
there was
me
a
right
point, and it was not the same at the end. But there was a point in my marriage where my wife, at the time, really enjoyed it. Like when I stood up.
Yeah.
And then she started not to enjoy it after a certain amount of time. It didn't happen often. Scott, go ahead.
Hey, Fred, what's up, brothers? Hey, I just had this argument with my girlfriend last night. Oh, good Lord, I'm in the doghouse, brother. I'm going to live in my chicken coop.
What? Why?
Hang on. She was complaining about her weight because I feed her too much, like eggplant parm and stuff. And she was complaining about her hips being too big and nothing fit. I said, you look great, honey. She goes, you're a lying. I don't know if I can say that word. Bastard. Can I say
you
that
can
word?
say bastard. No. Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I say that? No. She called me a lying bastard. She goes, I'm going home. So she went across the street. Ah, good Lord, I ate alone again.
All right. I don't know what the hell that was.
Hey.
What do you mean you're feeding her? You tying her up
Eggplant
and
parm.
you tying her up and force feeding her?
Yeah, he's trying out his material.
you
for the
just tell
We
her-
don't kink shame. Come on.
That guy's opening up for Lenny at Giggles this weekend. Leave him alone.
That guy needs to go back and listen to yesterday's segment and earlier today and just learn what to say. And
Even if they're fat.
that's right. You still love them.
The penis can do it, man. I'll tell you.
You didn't hear Al Cole?
No.
You don't even listen to the show.
I listen when I drive in.
When did you drive in? We played it at 8.
I left at 8:15.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Kendra.
Sorry.
You don't even listen to the show. I listen to you.
I listen to you guys when I wake up in the morning or I'm driving in.
All right. Well, at least there's sometimes you do. All right. Very good. We'll be back with Kendra Middleton. We will discuss sports and betting and all of those things in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Man, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. If you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment that erectile dysfunction causes, you might have resigned yourself to this. 5, you see videos of us, just know that those have been instructed. Do you see the video of me dancing with my daughter?
I
for my
did.
daughter. All right. There are people that commented on that and said, like, I can't believe you made your daughter do that. As if it was like, I said, hey,
Did
Zoe.
she ask you to do it?
Look at that.
Is that a real question?
Look at that.
Yeah. Zoe said, hey, there's this viral thing going around where I do this. Can you dance in the background?
See,
Then
you
she
thought Fred Toucher actually went to his daughter and
yes,
said,
yes, because he is constantly like, I want more Instagram followers. How many followers until I get to this? What if I do this dumb trend?
Okay.
I didn't say what if I do this
All right,
dumb-
so at least she has a reason behind why she thinks that.
He's just trying to go viral at this
But
point.
you know me. Well, get out of here.
But he's not going to do it he's not going to do it that way.
So Zoe says, can you do this? Because, like, she wanted to send it to her friends. Like, her friends think I'm funny like a clown. Like, they're not, like, real funny, but they think I'm funny like a big idiot.
Yeah.
So she goes, I want to make this for my friends. So I made it. And for the first time in her life, she was, like, thought it was, like, so great. She was like, can you put this? And she obviously thought she looked good in it. So she's like, can you put this on your Instagram account? Now, Milo has asked me to put baseball stuff up before. But Zoe, this is the first time Zoe ever asked me to put anything up. So, yeah, it didn't go viral enough, I guess.
I think if anybody's giving you crap for that, you just say, I mean, like, if your daughter asked you the same question, you would do the same thing. And if you wouldn't, you probably suck.
No, I don't care about crap. I just thought the notion of that I asked her to do it was funny. I don't care about getting crap.
Hey, it's a valid question. You're trying to get the followers up.
Apparently, I mean, yeah, I guess
You do talk about
you
it.
didn't sound dumb saying it, so I guess you're right.
And which is rare.
Only thing my
Yeah,
daughter
exactly.
asked me to do, and I don't even know if she does anymore. There's something called a B-reel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
do you
love
know,
B-Reel.
Do you know what B-reel is?
No.
At some point during the day in your group of friends, or maybe it's everybody,
It's you have to be friends.
you get an alert that says it's the B-reel moment, and you have to take a photo of what you're doing at that moment.
It takes a picture of the from your front camera and then one from
Yeah.
your back camera.
Okay. I didn't know it was called Be Real. Yeah, she does that all the time.
And you can't fake it because if you retake your picture or you do it a certain amount of time after it tells you to do it, it tells people how many times you reshot the photo and how long after the thing went off. So you can't, like, let's say I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. It prevents me from being here and waiting to take it and looking like I'm doing something cool.
Yeah.
Okay. If they ban TikTok on Sunday, is that a big deal?
I don't think they're going to. There's no shot. I was talking to Jameli about this in the back. Have you guys heard?
Well, okay then. Thanks for that's just the
As long
person
as
I
you-
want to bring
as
up.
long as
when
you've consulted the
nailing down
experts.
my
Do you
point
guys
of
know
view.
about Red Note?
All right. I don't want to get too into it, but why are they not banning it?
Because it contributed actually a couple $1 billion to the economy and a couple million jobs. I don't.
China.
But it's headquartered in L.A.
No, it's a Chinese company.
No, yeah, but like that. Okay, so the thing with Red Note is that's the actual Chinese TikTok, and now out of protest, people your kids' age and my age are downloading Red Note and literally surrendering our data to them, like in protest.
Okay,
Smart.
so you like TikTok?
I like TikTok. I don't use it the most out of any of the apps. I probably use it the least, but whatever.
That's all my kids watch. I kind of wish they'd ban it. Are you engaged?
What?
You have a ring on your engagement
This is my
finger.
right hand.
Oh, no.
Been a while, huh, Freddie?
Left hand, Fred.
Just call me Stained. Call me Aaron Lewis.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah, since you said you're sorry, I believe that.
All right, so anyway, we're going to the Lions game.
We're going to start with Houston, though.
Oh, you're gonna start with
They're at Kansas City. First chance to see Kansas City here in a minute. What do you got on this game, Kendra?
I'm gonna be pretty square this week. Just with the weather, I think that's the way that things are looking. I love the Chiefs this week. I love Andy Reid with any amount of time to.
What are they laying?
8.5. Depends on where you're looking at it.
7.5.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. Up to 8.5, I'd take it. I love the Chiefs. Like I said, anytime you give Andy Reid time to prepare, there's a huge trend with that. And I don't think that it's kind of the same as the college angle we saw earlier this year, where the teams who had a bye week definitely struggled. It's so different with the NFL, and it's a cold weather game. You know, the Texans play in a dome. I think that's just tough for them.
What's the total in that game?
41.5.
It's currently 41.5 on DraftKings.
Hey, but what about Chiefs in one-score games? Just off the top of my head, it's
they
like a
have
lot
not-
of one-score games,
yeah.
so it's 8.5.
They haven't
That doesn't
covered
worry
well.
you.
Yeah, they haven't covered well. But like I said, it's a dome team. The offense for Houston's just really injured. I would say if you're looking at anything outside of probably just the Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco for an anytime is plus 155, which I like. There's obviously going to be a lot of ground game in these cold weather games. And I also like like C.J. Stroud to throw a pick. Like I said, dome team. He's struggled. He coughs the ball up, and I don't think the price is that bad. It's minus 140.
All right.
$89 get-in price for that game, by the way.
That's nuts.
Oh, my God.
Kansas
For the
City.
Chiefs game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Chiefs 11-0 in one-score games, by the way.
Yeah. That's
11-0.
But the thing is, they played 11 one-score games.
That's the point.
And that's the point I'm making.
So you take plus 8.5.
Well, that would be one thought. Yeah. Because they played 11 one-score games, you take the 8.5. But it's the playoffs and they had a bye week. All right, go ahead.
Buck the trend. All right, Detroit at home, also 8.5-point favorites over the Washington Commanders. Kendra?
I think C.J. Stroud's probably going to...
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. This is where we saw C.J. Stroud struggle last year at this point in the season. Also, just a dumb off between Dan Quinn and Dan Campbell at this point. They're going to go for it on every single fourth down. I think it's going to be a ridiculous game in that aspect. I don't think the Lions can lose this game either, just because you get into the argument of should coaches be able to interview during the season. AG obviously interviewing Ben Johnson, interviewing if they look any sort of distracted in this game. I think that's a huge, huge issue.
Campbell handled it really well, though. He gave the team 3 days off in that bye week, and he's like, that's when you can do the interviews because he's been through this before. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Artie?
No, she said, should you be able to interview at this point in the season? I say, should you be able to call the greatest coach since Vince Lombardi dumb?
Yeah.
On the eve of a divisional playoff game.
I guess
should
that's
you
my
be
right.
allowed to do that?
That's my right. I can.
right.
I mean, that's the thing. That was his biggest knock last year, was that his, in crunch time, he had problems with managing the clock and all that stuff. I would say anything in this game, if you're not going to touch, the total or anything like that, I'm going to go.
Can I just say the total real quick?
Yeah.
I never talk about gambling. I don't gamble very much. I'm putting $1,000 on the over. I'm going to the Hollywood Casino with $1,000 cash, and I'm putting it on the over.
55 and a half.
The Lions, I'm doing it. Doesn't mean you should do it. I think the Lions are going to score 40, 45 points.
They're going to beat the crap out of them.
I think they're going to score. If they want, they could score in every possession.
Doesn't it bother you on that bet though, the way the Lions defense played against Minnesota?
I'm not concerned about Washington at all. I'm saying that the Lions are going to have 40 points.
The score is 55-31.
Yeah, I'm not joking. I think the Lions are going to.
That's going to be the
58 to
content.
nothing.
We need that bet slip in the video.
I'm putting $1,000 on the over. I absolutely am. I've never been more certain about something. If I'm wrong, it costs me $1,000. So I don't care if everyone knows it. I mean, it cost me $1,000, but I'm going to the casino with $1,000 cash, and I'm putting it on the over. I do think the Lions are going to score at will. If they get, I take the kickoff. If I win the coin toss, and I just go down and score right away and see what you do.
I would say for player prop situations, it's gotten just too out of control for any rushing anything for the Lions. So if you're looking elsewhere, I'd say Jaden Daniels to throw a pick, minus 140, not bad. Rookie in a playoff game, don't hate it, especially against that Lions defense. I know they're injured. Whatever. I also think that if the Commanders are going to score, it's probably going to be Terry McLaurin, and he's plus money right now. That's probably where I'd look.
All right. Let's go to the Sunday matchup. First one on the board at 3 o'clock. The Rams will be in Philadelphia.
A lot of people like the Rams
to play the Eagles.
It is a 6-point spread, what I'm seeing.
6.5.
I think that this is probably the most likely game to be an upset, in my opinion. But the thing that I'm looking at is that it's an LA team on the road with 75% chance of snow.
Right.
And I get that Matt Stafford is a vet, but when he played in cold weather, it was a dome in Detroit. So and they practice outside, all that stuff. I do think that this is the most likely game to be an upset.
Yeah, Super Bowl coach, Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah. It feels like this is probably the spot, if you're looking at that, where it could go. I would say the best bets for me right now are Kyren Williams to score. Best price is minus 115. It's snow. It's going to have to be a ground game at a lot of points in this game. You could also potentially get me to the window on Jalen to score in any time, minus 115. Or if you really think that Matt Stafford's going to get out there and get it going with the air game, Puka plus 150 for an anytime. It's just he didn't score last week, and I don't know in what world he goes 2 weeks without scoring, especially in the postseason. You got to get your best guys activated in the postseason, and I think that's the best argument for it.
Okay.
Also, if you think that there really is going to be a ton of running in this game, look at Jalen rushing props. I think it's currently at 37.5 is his total right now. I like that over.
Well, It's always low like that. I get nervous. Bills Ravens. This is an all-time divisional round.
This is my
matchup.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is the all-time
Baltimore
divisional
favorite, right?
No.
No, it's a Baltimore.
1.5.
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore's 1.5. If this was
they're
in
the
Baltimore, it'd be a 4-point, obviously a 4.5 point spread. Baltimore on the
Yeah.
Baltimore side.
But Baltimore is the favorite.
Yeah, Baltimore is the
laying
favorite.
1.5. Yeah.
Yes.
Baltimore favorite.
Sorry.
No. The Bills are the. Baltimore's the favorite
Baltimore
now.
is the favorite.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
By 1.
Oh wow.
It's
Baltimore's the
1.5,
favorite
but
now.
yeah.
1.5. Okay,
Yeah.
but the
You're
point
right.
is-
I apologize.
All right, favorite on the road.
I was listening to. I heard. Yeah.
I
That
apologize.
was my bad.
No, it's my bad, but I apologize.
I would say I can't pick a side in this game. I really can't. People are arguing that this is the coldest game that Lamar's ever going to play in. They're also a cold weather team, but the cold weather in Buffalo is just so different. And we're supposed to get pounded this weekend up on the East Coast, so that worries me a little bit. I, once again, am probably going to look to player props here. Lamar Jackson, plus 170. He's due for an anytime. You can also get his, you can kind of pick where you want his rushing yards at. I think probably over 60 is where I'd look at for plus money at plus 110. He had 81 last week. I think that's probably where they're going to have to activate him this week.
Before you go to the window, here's Lamar on playing in the cold.
Hopefully we have some heaters on the sideline, bigger jacket. I got to talk to Kaneko to see what he got going on. Equipment guys, they pretty much do a great job though, so we should be good.
But you don't do gloves under any circumstances.
No, I tried it in practice. I was horrible. I got to lock in the cold.
He doesn't sound like he's looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, they play in Baltimore. They play in the AFC North. They got to go to a bunch of crap.
Cleveland.
I think it hits different though. It's kind of like the the
Western
Boston,
New York State cold is different than
Boston
anybody
cold
else.
versus
Yeah.
Detroit cold versus Minneapolis cold. I mean, that's cold.
Chicago,
Temperature's
too.
supposed to be 15
Chicago
degrees.
and Minneapolis the worst.
The temperature's supposed to be 15 or 14 degrees at kickoff. So-
Yeah, I'm not. Look, I don't know who's winning the game, but I don't think the cold's going to affect the Ravens. I mean, they'll just give it to Derrick Henry then. I mean, who do you like?
What's the over-under for Derrick Henry in this game?
Give me 1 second, and I can tell you. I didn't look into this, but
I threw you a late curveball.
yeah, you did. It's okay. I don't know why my internet's always so slow.
So anyway, you
and I
can see the.
it is going to be Derrick Henry.
Yes.
He's sitting at over 97.5 is where you'd get it. Minus,
Okay.
it's even money either way.
Jesus, 97.5. Okay,
That's a
in
lot.
a divisional game. All
Yeah.
right, that's a lot. All right, that's weird too.
Yeah.
I kind of don't hate that.
No, I know it seems like a decent number, but it's just
a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You're just really expecting the Bills to be on guard.
I mean,
Well,
all
Baltimore
these
doesn't have Zay Flowers. I mean, there are breadcrumbs you can leave.
Yeah.
all these cold weather games, all the rushing numbers have gotten a little insane.
Might
Obviously,
be better with Lamar at 53.5.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said, yeah.
Well, that's the problem. Obviously, I'm speaking the obvious, but that's obviously the problem facing the Ravens.
He had 81 rushing yards last week.
Yeah, and I heard a guy. He's like, the Commanders probably remind the Lions of the Lions 3 years ago when they beat Green Bay the last game of the regular season. They knew they were building something. And I said, yeah, they didn't make the playoffs. What the hell are you talking about? And their defense is banged up. Jaden Daniels can run around. Let him run around all day. Every time he runs, that's time off the clock. Where Detroit gets the ball back.
You're spending $1,000 on the over. That's
I've
your
never
bet?
bet $1,000. I haven't bet $1,000
$1,000 on the over for
time.
Detroit and Washington, which is 55.5 right now.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think Detroit is going to get close to covering that on their own.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Check tape, baby.
You've come in studio now for many years, and or at least a couple. And I've never said I'm making a bet. I'm not telling anyone to do it. And if I'm wrong, you can email me, and nothing's going to hurt more than losing
fun.
$1,000.
Because the video you guys are going to get while Fred is sweating this out in the stadium is going to be epic.
Girl, I got hundreds and fifties all arranged. Anything less than that, you keep the change. $1,000 ain't nothing for the tea.
Let's end on that.
All right, I got to go.
Mover, shaker, headline maker, not
Let's
for
say
9 to 5
goodbye
or nickel
right
and
there.
dimer.
Don't you think?
Wallach.
Probably a good idea.
I need Riz Wallach like I need air.
Well, just look at him. He's radiating it. He's got a got a Kowloon sweatshirt on.
Hey, I went to the new Kowloon spot last night.
There's a new Kowloon spot.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Nine
yeah.
Dragons. I
All
went last
Oh, nice.
night. Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, Kendra, how do people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kenny with an I Middleton. I'm at Kendra Middleton everywhere else. I will also be with the station and Heineken at F1 Arcade for the late game on Sunday. I know the weather's supposed to suck, but come hang out. Heineken's going to be, pouring us some beverages. We're going to get silly. It's going to be a good time.
All right, the F1 Arcade with the station, 6:30 on Sunday. Thank you, Kendra. We appreciate
Goodbye,
it.
boys.
We'll be back with the award-winning Stack segment.
Sports Hub headline. in America.
We have a farm. I have about 200 pigs here.
We get to spill beers on each other without worrying about spilling beers on people.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Half Toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
98.5 The Sports Hub. We're Toucher and Hardy. The Stack is brought to you by D'Angelo Grilled Sandwiches. Sink your teeth into steak royalty. D'Angelo's legendary number 9 grilled sandwich. Tender, juicy sirloin, onions, peppers, and mushrooms grilled to perfection. Get yours today. All right. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. What's going on?
A couple of emails coming in. Dave says, instead of trying to sit through a David Lynch movie over the weekend, easiest thing to do, fire up episode 8 of Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yes.
Only an hour of your time conveys all the weirdness and horror that made him great. It's truly last great thing he did.
Yes, that's an excellent point. Good episode.
I mean, I'm not going to do that, but
No,
you know,
I
should
wouldn't
you
expect
feel
you to.
compelled
But I might.
I had the Sherilyn Fenn Playboy as a child.
I own that as well.
And I had no idea who she was, but I found her to be very attractive.
Yes, she was. The original 2 seasons of Twin Peaks were chock full of very beautiful women, and she, to me, was the most beautiful of all.
Yeah, she had a certain look to her that I found very appealing.
Yes, indeed.
If I met her, even now, I would have it would be real weird because of how many times I used that magazine as a child. I mean, we're talking well into the hundreds. Maybe 1,000.
What a salute.
Huh?
That's a lot.
I mean, you do Playboy. I mean, that's what people are doing to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The Al Cole video or audio that we revisited this morning.
I don't know why you're not playing.
I don't know.
You're up. Adam, you got to get his.
I'm looking into your eyes right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Al.
More than one person said, hey, guys, I think there is a little crossover between Adolfo and Al Cole in terms of the cadence or the sound of their voice. I don't myself hear it.
What do you like in a woman? What? Yeah, you tell me.
Brains.
You know, it's interesting.
Maybe some of the inflections or something, because he does kind of rise and fall.
Ryan
a little
Beaton
bit.
said he hears Matt McCarthy in there.
I'm not seeing the Adolfo Italian.
He hears Matt McCarthy.
Yeah,
in Al Cole?
he thinks he hears a little bit of Matt McCarthy in the
penis is guided by the mind.
Hey there, girl. You remind me of a number. The number is 0. The amount of World Series that John Henry's going to get this year.
8 is a very, very seductive number.
Yeah, they're going to need eight strikes to get a hit.
Sarah from Everett also.
Sarah from Everett sent me a horrible email.
Really? Was it mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what did
it
she say?
Let me see if I can find
Sarah
it.
from Everett.
She
She's
signed
usually
it. I don't know her real name.
like
so.
kind-hearted, light stuff.
Nah, she sent me some kind of mean.
Huh. It have to do with your dog again?
No, why would that be mean?
I don't know. Maybe you're not treating the dog well. I don't know. In her eyes, I'm saying. In her eyes.
I got so many birthday messages. Thank you all, but I got hundreds, so it's going to take me a while. What's the first letter of her email address?
K.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
It's very, very strange.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. All right. Turning 50 stinks is the title.
Okay.
Turned 50 yesterday. Happy birthday, Fred. Turning 50 stinks, and the fact that you are alone is a double bummer. I wasn't alone. I was with my kids. It was with people. Hopefully, see, that bugs me. I said, I'm afraid I'm going to die alone.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, your minor celeb status in Boston and your money lands you a nice lady.
Oh, this is
Enjoy your day, Sarah from Everett. It's like this very
backhanded,
dismissive and backhanded thing. Like F you.
Okay.
On my birthday, Sarah. Like,
Not nice.
What's her deal with me?
I don't know.
Never met the woman. She's got some problem with me. She's always screwing around.
Technically,
she's not the only one.
Technically, she saw you, correct? That was even more creepy.
But I know. She saw me in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this, is that, I mean, if she knocked on my door, I wouldn't care. But here's the thing, is that Yeah, there's a bunch of psychos that email all the time. But Sarah is like a functioning person who you've met.
Yeah. Well,
I find it.
No, I've never met
Oh,
her.
you never met her?
No. I don't
Okay,
think
but
so.
well, anyway, you've talked enough to her.
Sure.
Where you talk as if you know her.
Sure.
And so it's like someone you know just like screwing with me all the time.
Nick says she's negging you like mystery.
Yeah, I thought that maybe.
Oh, nice.
Oh, like I could. If Sarah from Everett's single, I could date Sarah from Everett. That I'm confident of.
Very quickly, Adam 12, will he do
Consensually,
a
obviously.
DIY your own charm bracelet this weekend? The list of things that Adam 12 might be able to do. Charm jewelry is so back, you can hop on the trend at Found in Cambridge. A vintager shop just opened up a charm bar where you can customize your own necklace and bracelets with vintage and modern charms.
If my youngest kid was into doing that, I'd absolutely go do it with
Get
him.
in free, but I have a feeling the materials cost something.
Yeah.
Prices vary.
What if I bring my own material?
Oh,
I could do that.
Then they would say there's no point of the store. I would assume that they're selling you the materials.
True.
All right, we got to get out of here. All right, Hardy and I got to go do 10,000
Enjoy
things.
your weekend.
Yes.
Today's going to be a real fun fest.
We're all off on Monday. We
Yeah.
have the afternoon show take
Oh,
over
yeah.
on Monday.
Felder and Maz are in on Monday morning. Give them the same treatment you give us. They'll love it. So anyway, Hardy and I will be on our respective accounts. The station wants more digital stuff, so we'll do it. At Hardy985, at Fred Toucher on Instagram, at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram. So look for that. We'll document our trip. If Hardy and I are going to see each other Saturday, we're going to see